What is up, team, and welcome back to the Technical Fowl podcast. As always, you're joined by the three of us. I'm Jack Anderson. To my right is JP Pucylowski, who, just like me, looks like he's very hyped that the NBA season starts tonight. And then to my left is Sanders Oakley. How are we doing today, Sanders? Almost called you Sanders Pucylowski, not going to lie. So
that's all right. That's fine. I've got a grandmother who's older, so I have been called every male name in my family and some male names that aren't in my family. So I can adapt, overcome.
Sure.
You didn't say anything about me being ready for the NBA tonight?
I mean, how ready are you?
I didn't know it was tonight.
Do you want to declare
Exactly.
a team before the season starts?
No. Are we not doing all 30 team previews today so I can get familiar with them?
No, not quite. How about we won't even hold you to you have to declare a fandom. Do you just have a team you want to root for this season?
Yeah, I wouldn't
Oh, okay.
saying the Chargers thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I appreciate that. If I can, that small caveat. Teams that No, that's too.
How excited are you, JP? We'll circle back around while you.
I mean, I have my answer.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Go ahead.
It's the Spurs, but also
Welcome
just because
aboard.
the team that I know the
Bandwagon.
most. Okay, cool.
Not at all.
The team that I know the most is the Spurs because that's the
Name
most.
one Spur that's not Wemby.
Oh, you got to have this, man. Come
Okay, no, literally, I can see.
We went to a Spurs
okay,
game
yes,
last
we
year.
did. De'Aaron Fox is one.
on. Yep.
He
Correct.
didn't play much because he was hurt. The guy with he always dyes his hair. It was green, I think, when he hit the three.
It probably was green, yeah, but it's been purple. It's been blue.
Purple, pink.
It's been bleached.
What color is it now?
I think it's blue right now.
Is that Jeremy Sohan?
It is Jeremy
Yes,
Sohan,
let's go.
who
That's two.
we did not give a rookie
Um,
extension to. Thankfully.
Oh, okay. The rookie that you just had, one rookie of the year, has an S in his name.
Starts with an S.
That's what I thought.
Also played at UConn.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't think I can.
Stephon Castle.
Yes, if you told me Stephon, I think I could have got Castle.
Last question, and then I'll welcome you aboard with open arms. Who did we draft at number 2 overall this year?
Was it one of the Rutgers guys?
It was one of the Rutgers guys.
It wasn't Asa. It was the other one.
It was not Ace.
Ace, not Asa. Ace Bailey. It was the other one. Not Derek King. He's Maryland.
Does start with a D.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Okay, jury's out on it whether you can join or not. Then Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Rutgers part. I thought it started with
We'll
a
allow
D.
it.
I was so close. I was right there.
Not my arms are not as wide welcoming you as they would have been had you got it right. But welcome. But yeah, it should be another good season. I'm especially excited because my Spurs should be great. JP's ready to watch his MVP cook, even though he's not a Thunder fan. He's a Warriors fan, as marked by the Curry jersey behind him. But
Do we want to, at some point over the next couple, week or two, try and do a bonus show predicting champion, stuff like that? No? Yes? Too busy?
I would love to, but I just think we're too busy.
That's fair.
So
Too much football.
as much as I would love to, I
We'll
don't
wait
think
until
it'll happen.
football's over.
Yeah, and we should probably, speaking of football,
Yeah.
get on it. Today, as always, every Tuesday, it's an NFL recap of everything that happened over the weekend, and then the couple games we previewed, we'll break down more in depth. Not necessarily the best slate of games we chose, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then we'll finish the show with JP's Pucylowski Pyramid, his power rankings of teams, which I imagine there'll be quite a bit of movement this week.
It's not really a pyramid anymore, as it is a Christmas tree.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah, I made a brash decision, but it has pretty good reason for it.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll get into
we'll
that.
get into that for sure.
The Pucylowski tree. Christmas tree.
I think we'll just
Yeah,
the pyramid
Christmas
rolls
tree is what it looks like this week.
off. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll get there at the end of the show. But first, weekly takeaways. I'm going to ask you all the question I always ask you all. Favorite moment from the weekend? I know it was not your Chargers, Sanders, that's for sure.
It was not. My favorite was the referee protecting JSN. It gave me I don't know if y'all see these on your reels on Instagram and YouTube shorts or whatever, but the dad's spidey sense, if
Sure.
a child is falling off a couch, the dad reaches out and grabs him, or the stuff like that. It gave me protective dad vibes,
Yeah.
which was I don't know, it was kind of funny. And the moment I saw it, I was like, that was really cool. And then it's been going viral all day today. So yeah, just shout out the referee for because once JSN's helmet came off, that's just a different world of even if another dude headbutts you, like that could concuss you potentially. Like, so that was cool to see him protected because I got nervous once everyone was getting in his face and he didn't have a helmet on. I was like, if someone bumps him with a helmet, because Tim Tebow did that. He probably got a concussion, but I remember reading this in his biography where he was like really hyped up and he went around like headbutting every offensive lineman, and he said that he didn't realize until the next day he didn't have his helmet on while he was doing it, and his forehead was just like covered in bruises. Probably got a concussion, but it was 2008, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean,
but yeah, I'm glad to see him and the referee do that. That was cool.
sure. JP, your favorite moment of the weekend?
Sear.
Yeah.
Calling the Bengals to beat the Steelers.
Yep. Congrats.
Thursday Night Football continues to be fake, but it was fun to watch Flacco and Rodgers both cook and the unk off.
It was truly an unk-off.
4 tight ends score for the Steelers, and then Joe just did exactly what the other Joe would have done, which is just feed the ball to Chase and Higgins, and it worked all night. So maybe the Bengals are back.
I think this solidifies Jake Browning will not get another start in this league. Whoever was calling him, saying he was better than a third of starting quarterbacks in the league, that take looks really bad now. Horrifically bad. But that was a very fun game for sure. The fact that Rodgers threw 4 touchdown passes to tight ends is funny.
That was wild.
Could have cooked up a crazy parlay with that.
Yeah, if you
We were there. I just didn't think.
You called Pat Freiermuth, I believe.
We really could have picked either of those 3.
Yeah. It
They all
happens.
had the same odds.
It happens.
You should have picked all 3. That would have been
Apparently.
crazy.
That would have been nuts. My favorite moment of the weekend, Oronde Gadsden cooking. Someone that had a lot of Oronde Gadsden stock coming into the season. I mentioned him when the Chargers drafted him. I like that pick. He had a good game. He's now 4th in rookie receiving yards, and the only one out of the top 5 that was not a first round draft pick. So I love that.
Yeah.
But then the Giants.
That was insane.
The Giants Broncos game was electric for all the wrong reasons. Just an insane game. The Giants give up 33 fourth quarter points and lose. We can probably start there if we want, honestly, just for takeaways.
Yeah, let's start there.
That's just so bad from the Giants coaching staff and the players as well. I saw someone attribute it to altitude. Oh, they just got worn down, and that may be partially true, but you can't give up 33 points in the quarter. You can't really give up 24 in the quarter, but let alone 33. But y'all's thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I was listening to Check the Mic this morning and doing their review show, and I heard him say that at one point the Broncos had a 0.7% chance to win, which is the 6th lowest. And now I want to go back and find the other 5 that a team had a lower % chance to win and came back. But yeah, it was crazy. Was 28-3? When was it 28-3? Second half?
Yeah, it was.
So it wouldn't have been points. It would have been higher
about
than
2 minutes 40 seconds left is when the Patriots finally scored.
Yeah, so it would have been probably higher than that. So I don't know what the other 5 games that teams came back with a less % chance to win than that, but that was crazy.
Yeah, it's now the Broncos are 5-2, and it really doesn't
feel like
they're a 5-2 team. I'll be honest, I still have legitimate question marks about that team.
And yet they're also still one play from 6-1.
Sure. Sure.
They've been a roller coaster of a team this season for sure.
Hard team to get a read on because it's their defense is supposed to be really good, and it's largely been really good. You don't necessarily love seeing a rookie quarterback work you like that. And then the continued Bo Nix looking bad for the majority of a game, and then looking really good when it matters most, I guess. So props for that, but at the same time, I don't trust him right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Giants collapse. I think that pretty much.
Is that it for Brian Daboll?
I would say so.
I agree.
Eventually, at some point, it just really poor decision making in terms of how to not choke a lead. Being up 19-0 going into the fourth quarter. The egregious one was 3rd and 5. There's under 5 minutes left. The Broncos have 1 timeout left. Giants ball 3rd and 5, and you throw the ball. You could have just ran the ball. The Broncos had just called 2 timeouts back-to-back off Cam Scotabo runs. That would have been the Broncos' 3rd timeout, and now they essentially have to play the onside kick game because if you punt it, they get the ball with 4 minutes, 30 seconds left, down 10 with no timeouts. they are essentially guaranteed to have to play the onside kick game. Instead, they throw the ball, and worst case scenario, Jackson Dart throws a pick, and then they're able to score. And now they're able to play with the timeout and the 2-minute warning, force a 3-and-out, and go down and score. Just egregious, terrible decision making. But it was I like seeing it, like seeing Jackson Dart choke like that. That was pretty fun.
Tough
but yeah,
weekend for Ole Miss fans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes. I think that'll be it for.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
I know
don't pretend. We don't have to pretend.
Um,
We're all suffering right now. It's fine.
I'm not suffering. I feel great personally.
I actually do too. It's maybe this is just like the copium, but we don't. That's college football. I also do feel great as a state fan.
I think that'll be it for Brian Dable, though. Like
Yeah.
I agree. That's something else I want to just bring up in general. Brian Daboll choke, just continual bad decisions by coaching staffs and just trends within these coaching staffs. The Texans coaching staff doesn't have a good day. They are kind of. We'll get into that game more specifically. So I'm actually going to pivot. The Dolphins are still doing whatever the hell they're doing, to be honest, and Mike McDaniel just having the worst pressers of all time.
Yeah.
Jets still not winning. Now the owner is basically talking about how his QB can't complete a forward pass. And
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor comes into that game.
Yeah.
And now he's going to probably start this upcoming weekend. So
Yeah.
that's it for Justin Fields. The Falcons coaching staff continues to be a point of contention within that fan base. So I'm going to ask you all both to give me your bottom 3 coaching staffs in the league. On the spot, I know. But
Well, it would have been Brian Callahan,
sure.
Yeah.
but he's fired, so it's not him. I still believe Raheem Morris in Atlanta is in that bottom 3.
He's in mine as well.
He's just terrible. He makes very poor decisions.
See what he said about not having Bijan on the field on 4th and 1?
What'd he say?
He basically was like, well, we have a lot of other good players, and, this is what we want to do, and then was like, but, yeah, I get what you're saying. If you want to have him on the grass as your best player on 4th and 1, maybe that's something we should have done. And it's man,
Yeah.
that's really good. I have a lot of confidence in the Atlanta Falcons after hearing that answer.
Yeah, not even a week ago, Bijan goes for 230 yards.
Yeah.
And he can't even sniff the field on a critical 4th and 1.
I think it's McDaniel and the Dolphins are definitely in there.
Absolutely.
Especially,
completely
did you see him when Quinn Ewers comes in for a couple plays and Ewers walks up to him and McDaniel literally just turns the shoulder and ignores him?
He's a broken man.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough down there.
Not going to lie, I think if I was a Dolphins head coach, I'd be a broken man watching Tua roll out there and
Tua turned the ball over.
yeah, wheel and deal for a couple picks at least every game at this point. But I agree with him being bottom 3 as well. Now
Are
gotta
you
find a
saying bottom
third.
3 staffs or bottom 3 head coaches?
I don't know. For me,
I mean, head coaches, staff as a whole, but
Yeah.
head coach is the most important.
Yeah, it's
piece.
80% of the coaching staff.
I'd say Arizona.
I was gonna.
Sure.
Yep.
It's kind of been a theme for them for the better part of a decade, but still, the way that they have lost these games is just egregious and is inexplicable, and that can't be anything but coaching because many of them it is coaching decisions is what cost them.
Yeah.
The Thursday night football game, their kicker is kicking it perfectly the entire night, downing it at the 1, forcing them to return it. You tell him to switch it up. He can't even get it into the landing zone, and Seattle only needs 20 yards. You lose to a game-winning field goal. That kind of stuff can't happen. You lose 5 straight one-possession games. That's coaching. As much as we talk about, Kansas City last year was, 8-0 in one-possession games.
12-0, I think.
Even better.
Something ridiculous, yeah.
That's good coaching. That's
Yeah.
winning in critical moments. That is what makes a good coach and a bad coach. And it's not even if a player makes a mistake, Amari DiMercado doesn't carry the football across the line to score a touchdown, that's on the coaching for me because that's details. That's discipline. Those are the kinds of things that great coaches are able to get out of their players every single time. So Arizona and Jonathan Gannon and that staff is probably down there at the bottom for me as well.
Yeah. That's where I landed on my bottom 3 as well. There's a couple other iffy ones. The Jets have looked pretty poor, but that's a new head coach.
Yeah, it's his first year.
I won't put you bottom three.
He gets first year immunity or something.
Sure. But yeah, I'm good with that list. It was a rough weekend all around for that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about my Commanders. The Commanders Cowboys game. Cowboys win 44-22. I personally was feeling pretty good going into the game. Mainly, it was a fandom feel pretty good because we have guys like Robbie Chosen getting meaningful snaps. There's no Debo. There's no Terry McLaurin. The run game that actually was cooking to start the year has now put up back-to-back really bad performances against the Bears and the Cowboys. Two bad run defenses, and there's just nothing there. And I don't even think it's not a running back issue in my opinion. The offensive line, the interior of the offensive line, can't get any push, can't create holes. There's no creativity currently. And so then when you can't run the ball against the Cowboys, and then it's, hey, Jaden Daniels, can you sling the rock to Robbie Chosen and Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey and Zach Ertz? Even though the Cowboys' defense is bad, that's a pretty easy thing to stop. And then Jaden Daniels gets hurt, and Marcus Mariota comes in and tries to get Mahomey and throws a terrible pick six, which I couldn't help but laugh at because the game was already over at that point. And we've talked about the Cowboys like being a dumpster fire and their ineptitude, but that doesn't hold true for their offense at all.
Nope.
It's led by Dak, and then you have CeeDee Lamb, you have George Pickens, Javonte Williams having a good year.
Fergie.
Yeah, Fergie, like, they're going to cook. It doesn't matter what else is going on in the organization. They go out there and play ball, and so then they just took advantage of our bad defense in a way we couldn't take advantage of their bad defense. And then Dorrance Armstrong gets hurt, and he's out for the year, so we're out our top two edge rushers. All that to say is terrible performance by the Commanders, and I'm ready to put the season to bed already at this point as we're 3-4 and injuries are mounting, and there's just terrible vibes right now.
Yeah.
I don't see us turning it around.
I didn't make that nickname up for him, right? That's a thing.
I think
I haven't heard it.
I'm pretty sure whichever Cavender he's dating calls him that.
I think I saw
So.
one of their reels. Like I saw something
Sure.
from them on Twitter, and that's why it was on my brain. Yeah, it makes sense that y'all are going to be played by injury given the age of y'all's team. And I don't think any of us saw that coming in the preview, but I wonder if we did a review at the end of the season, kind of like we did our 15-minute previews, would we look back and be like, oh, yeah, that makes so much sense. Like, when the average age of your defense is, like, in the 30s.
Yeah.
Not actually, but y'all are the oldest roster in the NFL, I believe. Is that
We
right?
are.
It kind of makes sense that
Bordering
that's gonna,
historic levels of unkness.
yeah, so it makes sense that that could be an issue.
And we did address it in the preview as a concern.
Yeah.
I just didn't see it coming so fast and so fierce.
Yeah.
And I also don't think we would have been a great team even if everyone was healthy. I don't
Yeah.
think we would have been this bad. But this just didn't let us even really pretend that we were a good team.
Yeah, I think
So.
that in the preview, I remember talking and being like, if Bobby Wagner loses a step or other guys lose a step, I don't remember being like, oh, if they're just out for the season or if they just can't stay healthy. It was more just like, I remember addressing like the ability concerns because defensive players in general outside of quarterback don't usually play into their 30s.
Sure. Yeah, and then
Speaking of which, Calais Campbell and the Cardinals. First of all, I was just doing so can I talk about the Cardinals for a sec? Because they're
Sure.
a weird team. They lose to the Packers after winning for much of that game. And I just want to do a quick shout out because Calais Campbell's 39 and he's playing defensive, like interior D line as a 39-year-old.
shout out him.
Yeah, that deserves. Like I know, people know that, but probably not enough people know that because I had forgotten. I knew he was older, didn't know he was almost 40.
I didn't know he was almost 40 either.
So that was crazy. But yeah, the Cardinals lose that game. A good game from Jacoby Brissett, I think, at least at times. Kind of got Trey McBride the ball. Marvin Harrison has been having better games. He puts up 58 yards. McBride has 10 catches, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Crazy that's where we're at, where that's a better game for Marvin Harrison, which it legitimately is.
Yeah,
But
and I
I'm
think
just,
that I think that was the worst of games he's had in the past couple weeks. I'm pulling up his game log now. He had the 98 yards against Tennessee, 66 and a touchdown against Seattle. So
Tennessee game null and void.
Yeah, not great, but it's progress, which is what Cardinals fans want to see. My question is, have the Cardinals been better with Brissett than they were with Murray?
No,
Okay.
because Murray's won games. At point blank, that's the honest truth. They've been a little bit better, maybe offensively, but I wouldn't say so. No,
Okay.
I think
I think it's just been about the same.
Brissett's it's been limited. It's been the exact same story, losing in these one possession games. Brissett has been more, I'd say, efficient, but it's in large part because he's about half a foot taller and can actually see over the offensive line. So they're extremely limited in Kyler Murray, regardless of when he plays. And the unfortunate thing is Murray has been terrible, at least in the past 2 years, at what makes him so good. And the only reason he got the job and got the extension, he has not been able to extend plays to the level that he did at Oklahoma or in the first 2 seasons that he was there in Arizona. And because of that, now you have a 5'8" quarterback behind 6'6" and 6'8" offensive lineman. I wouldn't. If you're saying like, should we start Jacoby Brissett going forward? No, you keep.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to ask, should they be looking to draft a quarterback this year?
They will. I think
That's where I was going to go because I'm doing my mock drafts. I'm going to try and put one of those out tomorrow. I'm looking at them drafting a quarterback. It's just so hard because he's not. You can't get rid of him until like 2027.
You could get rid of him this offseason. You'd have to bite the bullet, but they may not have a choice.
Yes. Okay, I see. Yeah.
I would get rid of him this offseason. I remember I've said it at least once before that I felt like maybe he is a Pittsburgh Steeler next year. I could see that as a potential option. So he signed here through 2027, but next year he just has a small roster bonus, only $17 million.
A slight 17 mil.
So if you trade him, we could get off of much of that. You'd probably be a little capped the next 2 years, but it's like 15 to 17 million. I'd get rid of him.
Yeah.
Like I would maybe not draft a quarterback, but it's up to Jonathan Gannon, kind of his decision. This is not his quarterback.
Nope.
Just the team that he inherited. And they were able to find success late in the year last year and got up to 8-9. And sadly, this year they're 0-5 in one possession games, which are their 5 losses. So maybe they could see it a little bit differently. But I'd consider maybe them drafting one.
Yeah.
They also, I still think they haven't quite filled out the talent
For sure.
that they need to, which I know is something I mentioned in their team preview. So I would also, if they had just a best available, you just take the best available.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think one of the reasons I lean them taking quarterback is right now they're on pace to be a top 5, top 8 pick, I believe. And if you do think you can get to 8-9 with Kyler, like, do you think you can get beyond that? Because if you can't get better than 8-9, 9-8, take advantage of the high draft pick you have this year and just move on now. So that's what I'll say there. We're on the same page there, thinking that they might need to move on from Kyler in the near future. Other takeaways? Chiefs dominate the Raiders. I don't talk about that
Yeah,
game.
massive takeaway. Somehow
The Raiders are bad.
Geno Smith's PFF grade for that game was better than Patrick Mahomes. So shout out PFF for that one. Whatever it is, what it is. The London game, the London Jacksonville Jaguars, as they're always there, disappoint their second home fans. They lose 35-7. Not a great day just all around. Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams do their thing. The Rams offense as a whole really does their thing. And this is still just a really confusing offense. And not even really confusing. It's a very disappointing offense for the expectations we had going in. It was like, oh, wow, Brian Thomas was fantastic as a rookie. You're infusing Travis Hunter into the mix. People, Brennan Strange was high on him. Maybe a bounce back year from ETN. And it's just inconsistency and really just largely bad.
Yeah.
With some highlight moments, especially from the wide receivers. They're dropping they have the highest rate of passes dropped and uncatchable balls, stuff
Again?
like that. They're just not helping out Trevor Lawrence at all. You beat the Chiefs and then you lose 2 straight games. So I wonder about y'all's thoughts on them as a team.
I'm not panicked whatsoever. They just kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball immediately. They go 3 and out their first 2 possessions and give up touchdowns on their first 2 defensive possessions. All of a sudden, you're down 14-0, and they had to push the rest of the game. They turned it over on downs 3 different times. I'm not panicked. I think the last 4 weeks, and I will probably say the exact same thing when I talk about them in the pyramid. They played the Niners on the road. They played Kansas City. They played the Seattle Seahawks. They played the Rams. That's 4 probably playoff teams, borderline playoff teams, at least because there's 3 NFC West teams there. Maybe not all of them make it. They were 2-2.
Yeah.
They won the first 2, and they lost the second 2. So all of us, you're going to naturally react way more negatively to the fact that, they lost the first 2, or the last 2, I should say. But if it was 1-1-1-1, like flipping, or if they won the last 2, all of a sudden they're a hot team. I wouldn't panic. I think they've just ran into 4 tough weeks. They went 2-2, and with a first-year head coach, and with the struggles that they've had with Trevor Lawrence in years prior, I think they would have taken that, regardless of whatever 2 teams they would have beaten. They play at the Raiders and at the Texans. They're on a bye, so they'll get to reset. They'll get healthy. Then they're at the Raiders and at the Texans. I think they're going to be 6-3. We're going to have a completely different conversation after that.
And it keeps going. They play the Chargers, and then at the Cardinals, at the Titans. They could be 4-1.
That's what happens when you're really bad the year
you could
before.
be
That
8-4.
schedule looks nice.
They played the hardest part of their schedule, and they're 4-3 at this point in the season. They take that considering how last season and the year prior went.
I'm not panicked because it's not like I had very high expectations for this team going into this year. I have them making the playoffs kind of as that fringe playoff team that benefits from a bit of a lighter schedule and is much improved from the year before. But it's not like I ever expected this team to make playoff noise. So there's really, I agree, I'm not going to panic because what am I panicking about?
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. I'm more disappointed because I thought this team was going to be a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah,
and
that's
from
fair.
that standpoint, it's just Brian Thomas, what the heck's going on? Travis Hunter, you struggle to. He gets the touchdown late, but kind of garbage time.
Yeah.
So it's more frustrating than I am panicked.
Maybe they'll get it going. It's 7 weeks in,
Sure.
new system with Liam Cohen. Maybe eventually they could find something. The best thing they have going for them is they haven't played the Colts yet, so they'll get 2 chances at them.
Yeah.
Sweep that. They could still win the division because
Sure.
they're just 2 games back. But I just wouldn't panic on them. I'm going to say the same thing here in about an hour in the pyramid as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say shout out the Browns. Big win, I guess. You beat the Dolphins, as we mentioned earlier. Bottom 3 coaching staff. You're at home. You win 31-6. It's bad weather, which isn't gonna help the Dolphins in general. And honestly, with the way they're playing right now, it probably wouldn't have mattered if it was the most perfect day weather-wise. But as a Browns team that you're not guaranteed to get very many wins, and you had a lot of outside turmoil this past week with Myles Garrett being I want to win, everyone jumping on him, saying he's not trying, all the QB noise. To go win this one is a pretty big deal in my opinion, and it's just I just want to clap for them, I guess, because they just really don't win games, so it's congrats.
Yeah, and they do it on the back of Quinshon Judkins. He has a 3-touchdown game. My brother will not let me forget because I liked Dylan Sampson coming into the NFL out of Tennessee. He gets drafted by the Browns in the third, later in the rounds. Judkins goes in the second, and Judkins doesn't sign his contract, and I was like, oh, Dylan Sampson's gonna have the head start. He's already got a couple games under his belt. I could see him being the starter. And Wynn was like, no, that's Judkins' job. And I was like, yeah, I disagree. I was basically calling my shot with Sampson, and I missed my shot. And so he has reminded me every week that Judkins has a good game, that I was wrong. I feel would you think that, say, the Dolphins, they're in a different situation than the Cardinals because I think the whole coaching staff is about to be gone. But as far as moving on from quarterback, Tua's been bad this year. He's got 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's on pace for a Jameis 30-30 kind of season.
Does he really only have 10 interceptions?
11 and 10 is his ratio.
11 and 10. So it's not, and we're 7 games in. So I guess it'd be more a 22. It'd be 25,
He's
24.
on pace for 27 and 24.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not great. But we just earlier when we were talking about worst QB, not worst coaching staffs, specifically like head coach, we had the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel down there in the bottom 3. Would you say that like would you say he's gone, and if so, is Tua also gone? Is that possible? What are your thoughts there, JP?
The Tua can't be gone. He's got 3 years as opposed to the Kyler's got the 2 years of cap hit. Tua has to be back next year.
They basically have to eat a year.
Yeah.
Or they're going to have to do what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson and eat the bonus across 2 separate years. It eventually worked out for Denver, so maybe that is the move.
They may do that just because, like, it's not like they're going to be good anyway, so
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, not having the money means we can't go and compete. It's like even if you have the money, your team's so bad, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, and he's tanked his trade value at this point, so it's too late for that as well.
Is there any QB you'd want starting for your team less? That's like a starter in the league right now. I was going to say Justin Fields, but he's no longer going to be the starter, so he's out the window in that question. Because I think he's out of all 30.
I think the argument
something
you
starting
could make
QBs.
might be Joe Flacco.
I'd rather Joe Flacco start for my team.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to go out there and win games right now, especially.
Yeah. JP, would you rather have Spencer Rattler than Tua?
Yeah.
That's fair.
And that tells you a lot about
Would you
Tua.
rather have Bryce Young than Tua? I'm just kind of rattling through like the quarterbacks I know you're lower on and most people are.
Yes,
You'd rather have Bryce Young over Tua.
just slightly.
Okay.
It's dire straits if you have either, in
That's-
my opinion.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jacoby.
Yeah.
I still count
That-
Kyler as a starter there
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh, that's fair.
I'd
That's
rather
fair.
have Kyler as well.
Yeah. That's all the ones I can think of that would be close. So I guess the answer is no.
Oh, there's Geno Smith.
True.
That's kind of
There's no way.
Actually.
There's no way you would, but you would still pick Geno,
I would
even if
take
it's
Geno,
close.
yes.
Yeah. Even if, you have to. You have
Personally,
a
I think
jersey.
Geno. It's just it's a microcosm of the organization and the structure that he's in.
Sure.
It's not his fault that he has no offensive line.
Hey.
That's a lie. He's the one throwing the picks.
Well, you always kind of know you're going to have that with Geno. He's not going to stop slinging it. So if you don't put him in a spot to protect himself from that, you're gonna lose. Which, you're all right. It's still on him for throwing the picks. But you can't necessarily be surprised that he's throwing picks because what do you expect?
Yeah.
Bears beat the Saints, and I thought this was really interesting. I heard someone say Ben Johnson is the head coach there now, comes over from Detroit. If you switch out DeAndre Swift's name for Jahmyr Gibbs and Kyle Monangai for David Montgomery, it looks very right. Swift, 19 for 124 with a touchdown. Monangai, 13 for 81 with a touchdown. It just looks like Ben Johnson has picked up the Detroit offense, moved it over. He's got DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and it makes sense because
Luther Burden's
he's
playing
the OC.
well.
Thank you, Luther Burden as well. But just a good day offensively on the ground, especially from Chicago.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that they're at Detroit level though.
No.
Caleb has not thrown it efficiently enough to even remotely close to Jared Goff numbers. But for them to have success on the ground game, I thought is kind of imperative for them this season because it's just going to help Caleb that much more to not have to be in third and longs. But I wouldn't say they're at the Lions, Ben Johnson level yet, but they've got a chance to get there. And Caleb's been playing fine. They just got to keep stacking wins,
Yeah.
That's the key at this point because the NFC North is pretty darn solid. Because I wouldn't rule out Minnesota yet either. And the Lions and the Packers seem to be the cream of the crop.
Which, speaking of Minnesota, they lose, and I feel like the story of that game was the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith game. They finally get going, and it's once again what do you do with Philadelphia in terms of fantastic game? You throw the ball well, you get a win. Defense plays all right. It's just such a Jekyll and Hyde team, though. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, Hurts was 5 for 5 on passes 20 yards or more down the field for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Pretty phenomenal.
So perfect passer rating.
It's all right.
he kind of answers that question of the passing. Can he throw the ball again? I thought Chris Broussard said it best from First Things First. Every single time that Hurts is questioned by the media, by A.J. Brown for reading a book, or like he said a couple weeks ago that the passing of this team is just not good enough. And then there were rumors like inside the locker room that an Eagle player felt like this locker room felt exactly like the locker room 2 years ago when they started 11-1 and then lost 6 games in a row to end the season. And yet he just continues to answer when he needs to in the big moments, with Saquon not being able to run the ball effectively because the offensive line refuses to block for him. Saquon is like almost at an Ashton Genty level in terms of yards after contact. He continues to answer. He did it in the Super Bowl. He's done it again this week. So they continue to be a no further questions. Yeah, 5 for 5, 215, 3 touchdowns. Devontae got going. A.J. Brown had 2 touchdowns. Gutsy win, like throwing win. Again, I think we talked about it in the... What game was it? I can't recall what game. Maybe it was the Cowboys game. When it got into obvious passing situations, they were still able to complete the passes they needed to. Again, in the Vikings game, there's a couple of third downs in the second half. He's able to hit A.J. Brown on the sideline after he scrambles out, and A.J. Brown runs the sideline drill perfectly. To close the game, he's able to hit A.J. Brown down the sideline. Even when they've gotten into obvious passing situations, it hasn't been a problem for them and Jalen Hurts.
Sure.
And that should be celebrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that they are continuing to be in no questions asked. I would say they're back to being in no questions asked because we had questions for 2 weeks there after losses to the Broncos and Giants. But, yeah, I would agree that they had a great game, and Hurts did especially as well. I didn't get to say this for the Bears because I was double-checking it. They're 4-2 right now. Last time they started 4-2, 2024, so last year they lost 10 straight. Just a weird stat that I saw earlier today. So that's something to keep your eye on.
Sure.
If they start to lose 1 or 2, does panic set in?
Probably it's a very panicked fan base, but I fully don't expect that to happen.
I don't either.
This is just a better team. So
For sure.
Yeah, there were 3 of them. 3rd and 15, minute 38 left in the third quarter. He finds Devontae Smith for 28 yards. 3rd and 13 is the one I talked about. The scramble drill finds A.J. Brown, and then the sealer on 3rd and 9. Just obvious passing downs, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 15. Makes it happen.
Yeah.
Credit to him.
Any other takeaways?
Nope. I think I'm good. I think we
Bet?
mentioned almost every game. We
We got close.
didn't mention the Panthers-Jets because who wants to talk about that?
No
Didn't
reason
mention
to.
Colts-Chargers.
Well, that's one of our 3 games.
You're right, it is.
So-
I forgot. So we talked about almost everything. Cool. Let's get into the actual games. Not the games we previewed.
We got to start with Sanders' worst nightmare here. The Indianapolis Colts, one of the hottest teams to start this season, traveled to Los Angeles and faced the Chargers, where they win 38-24 pretty easily. The Chargers were trying to play catch-up all game. No rushing attack. They put it all on Justin Herbert, and he did not deliver in the way you'd want him to. Threw for 420 yards, but a couple bad picks. Rough decision-making. Threw the ball over 50 times. But the Colts keep chugging. Great run game. Danny Dimes doing what he does. And they're now what? 6-1?
6-1,
6-1.
yeah.
6-1. So shout out the Colts. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Confirms the theory we had that Kamani Vidal's game, breakout game, was
Insanity.
only due to the opponent, and that was the Miami Dolphins. This week he has 9 carries for 20 yards. That's 2.2 yards a carry. His longest carry of the day was 5 yards. So not quite the same Saquon, Derrick Henry performance. Justin Herbert, a lot of really, really bad decisions. And the homer in me is always going to say it's because of offensive line issues, batted balls, hands in his face, pressure, but that's not really the reality. He just made some poor decisions, and maybe he was like, maybe if you put him in a perfect situation where he doesn't feel like he's down and has to score because the defense is like Swiss cheese, Sunday, he makes better decisions because he's not forcing the ball because it's not necessary. But it's not really, that doesn't really excuse bad decision making because it just made the situation worse.
Sure. I mean, I think it's a byproduct of asking him to throw the ball 56 times or whatever it was, 55. He's not a quarterback you want doing that. There's very few quarterbacks in the league that you feel comfortable with throwing the ball 55, 56 times.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of really what it is for me is like, yeah, I asked Justin Herbert to throw the ball 50-plus times. I'm probably not going to get the results I want. Just like if I ask, I don't know, Jordan Love to throw the ball 55-plus times,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get the results I want. So
Yeah.
The most troubling part on the interceptions is they're in the worst possible spot.
Yeah.
He had the one against the Commanders a couple weeks ago where they're on the 4-yard line, the opposing 4-yard line. They're 4 yards from scoring a touchdown. And then the two this weekend are from the Indianapolis 28 in field goal range, have a chance to score points. You're down 20-3. Even if you kick a field goal on third down and you don't convert and kick a field goal, it's a 2-possession game. It's 20-4 or 20-6. It's a 14-point game. And then the other pick is from the 8-yard line on third down. Again, in field goal range, you have a chance to cut it to 20-6 again.
Yeah.
You throw the pick and he kicks a field goal right before the half. That's the most troubling part. And that's why I text Herbert, because it's bad decision-making in that part of the field. If it happens on a few of the picks he has done this year have been arm punts, to his credit. I don't care about those. I care about these when you're taking away points and you're taking away opportunities. It's the same thing we talked about, and it's the same thing that Jeff Levy again harped on in his game week interview for this week.
Great interview, by the way. Fantastic
taking
interview.
away points when you have them in front of you. Xavier Gayton fumbling in the red zone. Like, stuff like that happening ends up costing you the game, not the final play of the game. Not just the offensive line is bad. It's you took points off the board, especially against a team that can score points and will score points whenever they want.
Yeah, and let me cook here and defend him again and say that even those turnovers in part come back to offensive line, because on the 4-yard line, you shouldn't be passing. You should be running.
Sure.
It's just that the run game is not really functional right now due to like 6 or maybe more than 6 offensive line injuries.
there's a lot of offensive line injuries. You have running back injuries.
Running back 1 and 2 are both down. So Justin Herbert has been put in really bad situations, and it's kind of to be expected that if you, like you said, any quarterback that throws the ball 55 times, I mean, the only ones that I can think of that have had that kind of day is like Aaron Rodgers could go out and throw it 55 times and have a good day. 55 burgers, 55 fries.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Just
that's
a bit that I got reminded of. Anyway, so yes, he's been making poor decisions, but he's been put in really, really bad situations, unfortunately. Like no one is at fault for that. It's just the reality that when you have that many players that are part of the run game, offensive linemen, running backs get hurt, you're going to have to pass a lot, and when the ball's in the air, it's going to get picked off sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, they've not been into the red zone all season, and so he's having to force stuff. But he still is the person forcing it right to the Colts defender that's on Quentin Johnson. So not a great showing.
I wanted to shout out, are you moving on to the Colts?
You're just going to shout out Rondé Gadsden?
Yeah, I was.
Go ahead.
Great game. It's just been like he's kind of been a highlight in a very frustrating season, or a very frustrating 4 games, because we started 3-0. So it was a great season for the first 3 games. Yesterday he had 7 receptions, 164 yards, and a touchdown. And I think that what makes it better but also worse is the tight end play behind him is so frustrating from I don't even remember.
Will Dissly,
and the other one, the former
Tyler Conklin.
Yes, Conklin, the former Jet. Dissly had a drop yesterday. Conklin had a drop 2 weeks ago. Both of them hit him in the hands. Conklin's was the one where he wiped his hands on the towel while the ball was in the air. Dissly, he just puts his hands up and it just just drops it. And so having Gadsden playing well is great. I really would love to see the other two just on the field never, unless it's like a two tight end set. But like
Yeah.
Gadsden is playing his way into like tight end one, undisputed starter, and needs to have more playing time just because he's the better out of the three. And it's not even like the drop off is like, oh, they just aren't as good. The other two are playing poorly. They're playing poorly.
I wouldn't even think he's saying he's playing his way into it. I think he's there.
Yeah, he is there. But I just like when Disley had that drop, I was like, why is Gadsden not on the field? And I do think Gadsden got hit at one point and had an injury that he had to exit the game for. But hopefully he can stay healthy and not be another big body that gets hurt, because that would be unfortunate. And unfortunate if he got hurt, it would be kind of funny. I would laugh.
Yeah,
I think we had another injury like that.
On the flip side, Colts offense, Chargers defense, another good day for the Colts. They run the ball pretty well, 120 yards on the ground. Jonathan Taylor does his thing. And they're just this is not me trying to take things away from Danny Dimes or Indiana Jones, because he's playing very, very, very well. But talking about, you're putting too much on Herbert's plate that he can handle, the Colts are doing a good job of not putting too much on Indiana Jones's plate. And he's just playing phenomenally because of that, distributing to weapons. Tyler Warren's been a fantastic draft pick. Shout out the Bears for taking Colson Loveland over Tyler Warren. That's looking really genius at this moment. But just another great day from them. And before I pass it to you all, on the flip side for Chargers defense, it kind of feels like there's a couple teams every year where the defense starts off really hot, and it's like, man, this defense is really good. And we talked about that with the Chargers defense of like, man, their coverage, there's no air, there's no separation. They give you no room to breathe. They keep everything underneath, and then they just tackle so well, they just suffocate you. But every year there's a couple of those teams where, okay, their first couple weeks they're great, and there's a couple injuries, and the book gets out on how they play, and then there's a fall off, and it's like, oh, it's just an early season fluke because of a different scheme. People hadn't seen them yet, and that kind of feels like where we're at with this Chargers defense. I don't know if y'all agree with that or not.
Yeah, I think they also got kind of boosted by the way their schedule started off.
Sure.
You get to play the Chiefs, who don't have Rashee Rice. Xavier Worthy goes down on the first drive, and so that game was just kind of cooked from the get-go, and the Chiefs still scored 21. Then you play the Raiders, and the Raiders are just bad, as we've seen. Like, they scored 0 against the Chiefs. Geno Smith threw, I think, 3 interceptions against the Chargers. It's just the Raiders are bad. And then you play the Broncos, and the Broncos still haven't figured out their offense yet in year 2 of Bo Nix, which is, some people predicted that. I wasn't expecting it, and I'm kind of sad to see it. But, I mean, the Broncos scored how many 0 points until the fourth quarter of Sunday's game? So they are not a great offense. And then you play the Giants give up 21. The Commanders give up 27. The Dolphins give up 27. The Colts give up 38. I wonder how much of it was like a false front from the defense, kind of boosted by like a perfect situation of teams to play. The Chiefs without 2 wide receivers, the Broncos and the Raiders.
It's probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both as well. But I also think that they weren't going to stop this team anyway.
Right.
Sure. No one really has, so.
The Colts are now, in my opinion, on the same level as the Kansas City Chiefs offensively. They cannot be stopped. Ever. I don't think they'll ever be stopped unless Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. Because if they're able to be as productive as they are in the running game at first, it just opens up everything for them. And you're able to get Alec Pierce involved down the field. You're able to get Michael Pittman and Josh Downs involved. And then J.J. Watt mentioned it, like, it feels like every time Tyler Warren catches the ball, he has 5 yards of space around him. And that guy is already electric enough in the open field. And you get him in the open field, he makes guys miss. They are unstoppable, unlike the Lions. Like, I think the Lions clearly showed in the Chiefs game that they are stoppable eventually, because when things break down and the first read isn't there or the second read isn't there, Jared Goff has no ability to scramble, and he can't go and create a play, and so he's forced into making tough throws, and he throws picks because of it. Daniel Jones is able to use his legs, and so when it does break down, he's able to use his legs and go pick up a few yards here and there, or they're just able to use them in the running game straight up. So I think this is a unstoppable offense to go along with Kansas City. I don't think you'll ever hold this team to under 20 points. Watch that happen next week, of course.
Yeah.
Definitely will.
Against
Unlikely.
the
They're playing the
Titans,
Titans. Yeah, I
but-
don't see that. Although the Titans do have a win. The Titans beat the Chiefs like 3 years ago. So
Okay, that was a really long.
no,
that
I'm
was a
just sorry.
Mike
That was just
Vrabel tenure.
that was just an example of like a team that shouldn't win a game can like come out and just have
Sure.
a really
Any
crazy
given
day.
Sunday, I
Yes,
agree.
That
But
was my point.
Sure. Talking real quick, talking about the Colts rushing attack being what kicks it off. This is from Shane Steichen on Twitter. EPA per designed rush in the NFL. How many teams y'all think have a negative EPA per designed rush?
Like 8.
Higher,
I'd say half the league.
higher, much higher. There's 32 teams in the league.
Yeah.
30 of them have a negative EPA per designed rush. The Panthers of all teams is .02 EPA per designed rush, and then the Colts are all the way up there
Yeah,
at
that's not surprising.
.12 EPA per designed rush. So their run game EPA wise compared to the rest of the league is just so much more successful, and that comes to them just being basically unstoppable, like what you're saying, because if they're running the ball that well, and then you have to divert so much attention to it, and then you start getting your playmakers out in space, it's just GG's.
Yep. They've punted 12 times this year through 7 games. They are projected to punt only 29 times this entire year. So it's just offensively, how are you ever going to be in a game when the first 3 possessions are 5 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, 17 plays, 70 yards, touchdown, 8 plays, 80 yards, touchdown. Oh, and this is not just one game. They've done this like 4 different times starting this hot. They're just unstoppable offensively. Shane Steichen is doing incredible. I can't even begin to imagine, like, what if Anthony Richardson had started for them? Obviously, I don't think they would have been this productive.
No.
Sure.
Maybe they would have punted a season, but they've gotten what they wanted out of Daniel Jones, and I don't think they're ever going to be stopped offensively. So I think you're going to have to outscore this team. Herbert tried, but he forced it a ton in this game, and therefore threw picks. Man, they are just really unstoppable, and they opportunistic defense. They're good in the run game with DeForest Buckner and Latu. I mean, they are an incredible team, and really, I think they're a force. They're no different than Seattle.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I just think there's a slight difference, which I'll touch on when we get to the pyramid, which is why you'll see a discrepancy in their rankings. But Indy is a force to be reckoned with.
I mean, they're a driver's seat for the 1 seed right now in the
Yes.
NFC.
It's crazy. You want to know what else is crazy? Daniel Jones is on a 1-year contract. So the Colts are about to be back in the exact same situation. Either they pay Daniel Jones like QB1 money because he's having an elite season, or they trot out Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco or who knows. But yeah, I didn't realize that he was on. It makes sense because at the time it was like a come in, earn it year.
Sure.
And he is earning it right now. So
100%. Well, anything else on this game before we move on to the next?
They have the best odds to make the playoffs.
Makes
makes
sense.
sense. Who are there any like weird names on there? Like the
To make?
Ravens, like teams that you wouldn't think would have good odds who do, or teams that you
The Ravens are plus money to make the postseason.
make sense.
Sure. Well, go do the earlier Monday Night Football game
Yes.
first. Cool. The Buccaneers go to the Lions, looking to continue their winning ways, and the Lions are coming off a loss, looking to not make it back-to-back. And the Lions protect home field advantage. They win 24-9. Not Baker's best game, and the Bucs at this point need Baker's best game to beat good teams because of all the injuries surrounding this team. But it's well done by the Lions defense. Baker missed some throws. Jahmyr Gibbs, has a good game, and they win pretty handily here. Y'all's thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, they do win by 15, but it was a game until the end.
Sure.
The Bucs had a chance to go down and score in the fourth quarter. They turned it over on downs with 4 minutes left. So if they on the what yard line? The 34-yard line. But I think they got sacked. So like they had it, I think, close to the red zone. They were down there with a chance to score. They'd already converted like 2 fourth downs on that drive. But like they go down and score that. It's a 1 possession game with 3 minutes left. You get a stop. You've got a game. So they do win it handily. But I do think that given Baker's recent history of like 2-minute drives, game winners, like it felt like a game right until the end, until that last turnover with 4 minutes left. But yeah, it was a great game, insane game from Jahmyr Gibbs. The run that he broke out, the down the right side, the hole he hit was awesome. So seeing him play, and I feel like is that his best game of the year so far?
Easily, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a breakout game. He hasn't topped 100 yards on the ground yet. He's had a couple 2-touchdown games, but that was by far his best game statistically.
It's also just, he's the explosive back, and he's not been explosive this year.
Not at all.
So to have that
Montgomery
78-yard
had the longer
touchdown,
rush out of the two.
Correct. To have the 78-yard touchdown run is exactly what you want to see from him.
Yeah, so that was really exciting to see. JP?
It was a game because the Lions allowed it to be a game.
Yeah.
It was egregious what happened in the first half, and this is where, for me, aggressiveness hurts them and can keep teams in games that they shouldn't be in. They go down and they score on the first drive. Tampa Bay's first 5 drives, or first 7 drives, let's do first 7. First 5 are punts with 1 first down or 2 first downs, and then a fumble and an interception on the first play of both of those drives. That's their first 7 drives of the first half for Tampa Bay. And
they
yet
had
they
more
were,
than that? They had
they
over
had 8th drive, and
in
they
the
kicked
first
a field
half?
goal, and they cut it to 14-3.
in the first half.
That can't happen where the first 7 drives in the first half, 5 are punts with 2 first downs. You have a fumble and an interception on the first play of each of those drives, and yet it's an 11-point game at halftime. And this is because they were too aggressive in spots. Jared Goff fumbles on a strip sack. They turn it over on downs, going forward on 4th and 2 on the Tampa Bay 15. Just like take the points. They haven't got anything offensively going. Jahmyr Gibbs has the long touchdown run, and then they were punting a ton, missing a field goal. And then the Jared Goff pick right before the end of the half is terrible. It's like I said with the Colts preview, or the Colts post-game talk of the Colts-Chargers game, when it breaks down and Jared Goff doesn't have his first or second read, it seems like too often he's forced into making really difficult throws. And if he can't easily throw the ball away because he has a receiver on the sideline, he can just launch it over their head. He throws interceptions, and he threw a pick that cost them and allowed Tampa Bay to stay in the game. Tampa Bay, credit to them, they come out and score a touchdown immediately. And if Detroit doesn't respond with a touchdown of their own right after in the second half, I think the Buccaneers win this game somehow in a game they shouldn't have, whatsoever. Because if Mike Evans doesn't get hurt on that play, that's a huge, big gain. They would have scored points on that drive.
Yeah.
Emeka Buka was clearly hurt, clearly not 100%. They couldn't get anything going with Rashad White. Baker was missing so many throws.
He really was.
Which is kind of uncharacteristic. And after all, and still they were kind of getting shafted by the refs as well.
The K. Dotton, he caught that. That was crazy.
Yeah. That was a terrible call. Everything was going against Tampa Bay, and yet they were still in that game, down to the wire. And this is why I think for Detroit, I don't know how much I can trust them, because like I said, they're not unstoppable offensively, because if it breaks down, Jared Goff can't run like Mahomes or Daniel Jones can. And they clearly, with their aggressiveness and then just kind of lack of focus in key moments, don't take advantage of key scenarios. They should have blown out Tampa Bay last night and really made a statement. And they clearly felt motivated to do that with the things that we heard in the pregame, talking about Amon-Ra and Jared Goff talking about their 4th down failed conversion and how they were going to be focused and locked in for this game. It's home. You're wearing your sick uniforms. It's Monday Night Football. You got the extra day of rest. All of that going for you, and yet you still are in a dogfight for no reason. that just can't happen. And I think this game said more negatively about Detroit than it did positively. And I don't think I'm necessarily wrong in that. What are the positive takeaways from the game? That you won?
The
That you got the head-to-head?
defensive performance. I
Sure.
know it's a beat up Tampa Bay team, but they've still found ways to score on everyone.
Sure.
And it's another game against a QB like Lamar that has had great success running the football, and you completely take that away. He didn't record a rush on the night.
Mhm.
You did a good job keeping him in the pocket, and then when he tries to escape, taking him down. So I love what I've seen from their defense. I get the offensive questions,
Yeah.
but I think that's kind of becoming something that
Crazy
is
that
a
we
strength
just,
for them, and they don't even have their 4 starting defensive
yeah,
backs.
they were missing 4 defensive backs: Terrion
Mhm.
Arnold, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, and DJ Reed.
So I mean, it's a mixed bag for this team because I completely agree with what you said, and it's I'm just not the biggest fan of Jared Goff. I get all the success he's had in this offense and all the good stuff he does, but he kind of feels like somewhat of a fair weather quarterback to me. Like when the going gets tough, he's not necessarily who I want standing in the
Yeah.
pocket for me. The Lions do a great job of making sure the going doesn't get tough very often. But I still think I like what I saw from the defense, and that's a positive takeaway for me.
Yeah, crazy. We just mentioned Baker Mayfield's run game, Lamar Jackson's run game in the same sentence.
It's true.
It's not the same type of run game, but they've had great success.
And I think
Yeah.
from a scheme-wise, that's a great point. They did really well. Baker was like incredible in just escaping sacks in a lot of key moments, and then he was partially because what Detroit was doing well is they were keeping really, really good contain. So if he were to break a sack or avoid someone, he had no rush lane, and so he was forced to then reset his feet. But I think credit to Baker, in a lot of those moments, he's able to reset his feet, then find someone somehow.
Sure.
For quarterbacks, like if you want to watch tape on how to escape in the pocket correctly, go watch Baker in that game because he was getting kind of lit up all night and was still escaping sacks. It's kind of an undervalued skill for quarterbacks is the ability to escape sacks and set up your defenders and break their ankles. It's not something that quarterbacks, I think, practice enough, and Baker has been incredible at it. But I think that's fair. I just chalk it up to like Tampa Bay just was beat up and then finally kind of caught up to them. They took away the easy stuff, sure. But I think it was more so just like a momentum thing. Like Tampa Bay could never really get any momentum going, which I guess the credit has to go to the defense there. I just think they just didn't have their guys. Emeka Buka clearly was 100%, and that just kind of hurt them more than it was Detroit that was hurting them.
It's crazy. He pulled his hamstring like 10 days ago, I believe. Was it a Thursday night game?
It was Sunday against
Sunday.
the 49ers.
So it would have been 8 days ago. So crazy that he comes back from a hamstring pull and 8 days later and he's playing. I feel like typically guys could be sidelined for weeks with that kind of injury, and he was out for a week. A good game from Tez Johnson. He's kind of stepped up in the absence of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka missing time. Goes 4 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown, which is he had the same stat line. He had 1 catch, 58 yards, and a touchdown last week. Someone said that it felt weird for him to have a touchdown and not hear the MVP chants. But really just sad injury for Mike Evans because, like,
It's over.
I think it's over. I kind of thought it was over after last year. Barely gets to 1,000 yards. He's dealing with injuries. He comes back this year. And I was hoping that, like, if he was just the third wide receiver behind Egbuka and Godwin, that, like, he could make it through a season and have a good, like, kind of final year, maybe go out, make it to the NC Championship, maybe even a Super Bowl run. Like, the team around them was good enough. But he goes down with a broken clavicle and is out for the year. And I just don't
Most
see
of the year. He could be back towards the end.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
I saw it
late
was-
December, something like that.
Okay. That is good. I hope that he is able to come back and join the team for like an end of the, for the run at the end of the season.
Get 880 yards or whatever, however many he needs in the final game
In the final game.
of the season. Yeah, just do that like he did against
No big deal.
Atlanta in the end of the game. He has 140 yards,
Yeah.
so he'll need
860.
860. So yeah, it's possible.
I mean, he's an Aggie legend. I love the guy, so I hate to see it
Yeah.
go down like
I
this.
don't know that-
But the age was getting up there.
Yeah.
He has a ton of miles on him
And his
because
body's just failing him.
yeah, that's simply what it is. He's what? He's been in the league 10 years.
This will be his 11th
His
season.
11th
Yeah,
season.
he's
It's not like he's just like rode the bench in a lot of his years. He's like
He's
he's been out there
32. He'll
being
be-
the guy for the Buccaneers for almost that whole time. So yeah, it's simply body can't hold up anymore, and it's sad to see.
There are a lot of
But-
eras too of Buccaneers football.
Yeah, exactly. And he was the stalwart, and he's involved in the community, and everyone loves him. So, but it's just time. It's how football goes.
The 30-30 Jameis Winston, Mike Lennon, the Ryan Fitzpatrick year, and then
yeah.
Brady Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
now Baker. Sad to see him go, but I agree with y'all as well. I avoided him in fantasy football this year
Yeah.
Same.
because I just felt like he was kind of due to his body to finally fail him.
Yeah, and I don't want to say sad to see him go because if he does come back, like he could play. But like this is definitely the beginning of the end. This is probably his last year. He'll be 33 next year.
It's a changing of the guard, right?
Yeah,
like even
for
if he
sure.
comes back
Yes,
next year,
exactly.
I think it's Egbuka is wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I
And
think
that's-
Egbuka.
that says a lot about Egbuka as much as it says about
Him
Mike
coming
Evans'
back
era
is-
being over.
Is no different than like with DeAndre Hopkins playing for the Ravens right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like he can make a few catches here and there, but he's never going to be a 1,000-yard receiver.
it helps him a little bit that like he's got the big body,
Yeah.
right? So like even speed's going a little bit. He's maybe not as agile. It's
Yeah.
like throw it up there, see if he can come down with it a
Yeah.
couple times. So
that's the thing that Tyreek Hill doesn't have, and why I definitely think Tyreek Hill is done is because his whole thing is speed. And I just don't think he's gonna have that. But you're right, Evans with the big body, he's 6'5". Like he's not gonna get shorter. Having to come back from an injury.
I mean,
All
I
right.
guess he could.
Yeah, he
Very
could.
unlikely.
Yeah.
Shall we go on to the last game of the night?
Yeah.
Houston makes the trip to the West Coast to face the Seattle Seahawks, and they lose 27-19. It's a pretty ugly game. It's not a pretty game. Defenses play well. The teams combine to convert 4 third downs, which is less than the number of turnovers in this game. There's 5 turnovers in this game. The Seahawks somehow turn the ball over 4 times and win this game. And then talking about it being ugly, the Seahawks have 12 penalties for 93 yards, and the Texans have 10 penalties for 105 yards. So definitely not aesthetically pleasing football in any facet. But y'all's thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I feel terrible for the Houston defense because they did everything they could to keep the team in it. Even down to the point where what was the final score? I think it was 19-27, and Houston gets the ball, can't score, punts, and then they get an interception. Like you talk about the 4 turnovers Seattle had, it was the defense doing their best to keep them in the game, and it doesn't happen. Kind of crazy. Maybe I just never noticed before, but yet another. Baker Mayfield had over 50 pass attempts. Herbert had over 50 pass attempts. C.J. Stroud finishes with 49 pass attempts. So maybe it happens more than I realize, or maybe we just got very lucky that we picked the 3 games with that many pass attempts. But the quarterbacks were out there slinging it in the 3 games we previewed.
That's what happens when your running backs have 31 rushing yards combined.
Yeah. Stroud goes 23 of 49 for 229, a touchdown, and an interception. So definitely not a great showing from him. Dalton Schultz has a good day, but it was just not the best.
Someone's got to have a good day when you throw the ball 49 times.
It's just another bad week from the Houston offense. And that's the kind of offense that, the downfall of that offense can be studied. 2 years ago, Stroud's rookie year, you've got Bobby Slowick, and it's one of the most electric young offenses in the NFL. Then last year, they fire Slowick part of the way through the season because it's not working. I don't remember who they brought in off the top of my head, but it's not working.
Starts with a C. Let me see if I can remember. I was looking at it earlier.
Yeah, it's not working. You put up 10 points against the Jaguars,
Nick
19
Caley.
against the Buccaneers, 9 against the Rams. It's just, what are your thoughts on the offense, JP, and the C.J. Stroud play yesterday?
It's bad. It's offensive line, completely offensive line oriented, because Stroud is under immense pressure and is forced to scramble a ton.
And he said it himself. He's not as athletic as he used to be.
Correct.
So
He's getting old,
Which is insane.
he's
He's
getting
like
up there.
23.
in his age, so he doesn't have he didn't have his young legs anymore.
No.
But offensive line wise, like to be in a spot where I don't get it, because as a coach you should know your personnel, and one of the biggest things in coaching is making sure that you put your guys in the best possible situation to succeed. And if you know your personnel like you're supposed to, why are you handing the ball off twice on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 against that Seattle front, knowing the offensive line that you have and knowing the running backs that you have, even that they're not prolific runners. Nick Chubb is 3 broken legs away from who he used to be, and Woody Marks has never been a runner. He's been a pass catcher his entire career, both at USC and here at State. So why are you handing it off twice in a row? Like, why aren't you at least doing like maybe the tush push twice against that defensive line, and they got stalled as they should have? It's an egregious coaching decision. The decision making in the offseason made no sense. Why are you trading Laramie Tunsil when that was already an issue last year? Why would you then trade your left tackle, which is one of the most important positions in football, from your young quarterback?
It almost is like they were like, if we just close our eyes and don't look at the offensive line issues, they'll go away because we don't see them. So it'll be all good.
And then when you go into the draft and you draft 2 wide receivers, neither of them have really hit, but I think in large part, neither of them have hit because they don't use their receivers correctly. Knowing the offensive line that you had, you have to get the ball out quickly. You have to get the ball out quickly, and yet they refuse to do that. They love to try to throw it down the field. CJ threw it down the field a ton of times in this game for no reason. And a lot of the Seattle is really physical at the line of scrimmage and have really physical corners, and it's hard to create separation. But what are you doing? Like, why is that the decision making there? It's offensively, it's just all offensive line oriented. I have no issues with CJ Stroud. It's no different than like what we said about Jaden Daniels a couple weeks ago. He just has no help, both in the receiver room, and the running back room, and then obviously the most important part, the offensive line in front of him, is just terrible.
And now since he's not had this help for an extended period of time, he's just actively getting worse.
Yeah.
He's like picking up bad habits as like almost like a coping mechanism, or like it's the only escape.
Kind of like Baker Mayfield in that offensive line, I believe, last season there that was uninhibited by injury. What's going to be really funny is Texans fans are like out on Stroud. Some of them, not all of them, but like some of the ones on Twitter.
We can ask the one in the chat right now.
I'm sure Cromie
is not. Are you out on CJ Stroud? I'm not personally.
I doubt anyone is.
I have seen people who are out on Stroud, and maybe I don't know, just people on Twitter, I don't know.
Were they Texans fans?
Yes, I believe.
My.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm pretty
sure there are some Texans fans that are out on Stroud. Just like there's probably somehow a Bills fan that's suddenly out on Josh Allen after they had 2 bad days.
I wonder if I liked it.
Fans are crazy.
It was like
So he's played 2 seasons in the league and he's won the division twice.
Yeah, but maybe they weren't out on
and
him. They were just out on him
won
being
2 playoff
No,
games.
I specifically remember someone being like, "I'm out because Yeah, here's another. Stroud is 19 for 43 for 190 and a pick, officially washed in his 3rd year. It's just there are.
Don't listen to those opinions because they just don't know what they're talking about.
I'm not listening to them, and I'm hoping that was the point I was trying to get to. Is I assume the Texans aren't in that situation, but if Stroud finishes it out and has a bad year, how funny would it be if they convince themselves that he's not the answer?
They won't.
And then pull like a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield and let him go, to move on, and then he goes somewhere else and has a great career.
Well, he's in year 3.
Yeah.
So he is under contract next year. They'd have to trade him.
Yeah. And this is the year, at the end of this year, they have to pick up his 5th year.
And they will.
They will.
There's no reason to. It wouldn't even be funny. It'd be so stupid. It would be maddening that it would not be funny unless it was like, unless the Falcons did it. If the Falcons did it, it'd be funny for me. But I don't think any Colts, Jaguars, or Titans fans are going to think it's that funny either. That would make no sense. He's played 2 years. He's won the division twice and won a playoff game in each of those 2 years. So I don't understand that whatsoever. I think it's completely offensive line oriented. They need to address that in the offseason, and then they may be fine going forward. And losing may not hurt them because they'll get better draft picks. They got the Falcons' first-round draft pick this year. Right. Yes, they have the Falcons one because the Rams and Giants traded, not the it was
Yeah.
the Texans and Falcons. So they'll have 2 first-round picks this offseason, and so losing more is only going to help them with their own pick, and then the Falcons are going to be a 500 team, so that's a good pick.
And it hopefully forces them to fix the issue too. It's a lot easier to ignore the issue when it's like we still won 10 games and we made the playoffs, so clearly it didn't hurt us winning too much.
Yeah, and the more you lose, you might be able to get tackled too off the board.
And the schedule will be easier next year. They'll be able to rebuild for Stroud's 4th year,
Yeah,
Sure.
and then he'll have his 5th year, and then he'll have the extension, and then everything probably changes at that point. But I wouldn't punt on C.J. Stroud.
no.
It also is like, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I was just gonna point out this elite analysis by Chromie in the chat. Stroud good, not issue. O line, play calling,
Agreed. Play call.
bad.
Yeah, it's rough all around. The
That's-
defense tries their best.
Elite analysis.
C.J. Stroud led the team with rushing yards, which I wonder if that's the first time in his career he's done that. I have no idea. It's definitely not something you're going to see very often from him, and not something you want to see.
No.
But just gotten to the point with this team where they come into a game with the Seahawks, and it almost feels like it's impossible for them to win this game. The
Yeah.
only way they win this game is if the Seahawks lose it. There is
Which
no.
they tried to do. It's why the Texans almost won it.
Sure.
Not almost. They were one
no,
possession.
don't even say almost won
Sorry,
it.
they were within a possession.
Okay, be honest with me. Was there a single moment last night that you thought Houston was
No.
going to win the
No.
game?
I was so confident I went to sleep. Like, I didn't catch the end of this game.
That
No,
the
that-
Seahawks were going to win.
Correct. I was like,
Yes.
oh, the game's
Yeah.
over. I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm going
Right,
to
I
bed.
agree with that. I'm just saying you said the only way they were gonna win is if the Seahawks tried to lose. The Seahawks did, and it kept the Texans within a possession with a chance to tie.
I don't think Seattle tried to lose
They
this
threw
game.
4 interceptions.
They did not throw 4 interceptions. They threw 2. Cooper Kupp threw 1. Sam Darnold threw 1. And then they had the fumbles.
Sorry, fumbles. 4
They
turnovers.
had 4 turnovers. For me, all of those, except maybe the Cooper Kupp one, was Houston's defense.
Yeah.
That was all Houston's defense. I don't
Sure.
take really anything away from Sam Darnold or the Seattle team. They got eaten alive by Houston's defense, and yet it never felt like they were out of control of this game. And for me, I take unbelievable positive from them because I feel like they played maybe their worst game of the season, and yet there was not a single moment in this game that I thought, oh, the Seattle's going to lose this one. They're going to lose again at home. They're going to lose again on primetime. No, that just wasn't going to happen. So for me, I actually take way more positive from Seattle in this game because I thought they controlled it. They were able to run the football really effectively against this Houston defense, which I think should be a lot should be taken from that with Kenneth Walker and with Zach Charbonnet. Sam Darnold made some ridiculous throws. Again, JSN might be the best receiver in the league. I'll give him close second to Jamar Chase right now. They used their tight ends so well again with A.J. Barner and Arroyo, and their defense ate C.J. Stroud alive. I take way more positive away from the Seattle game than I think y'all two do. And I'm a Seattle homer at this point, at least so far. But I think for them to play what I thought was their worst game of the season, and it never felt like they were going to lose this game, I think says a lot about them.
I mean, I take some positives too. I will say, I don't think as highly of this team as you. That's impossible. But I think pretty highly of this team. So it's not like there's tons of positives to take away in the sense of it's a lot of stuff I already felt like I knew, which is you're going to run the ball pretty well. It was nice to see them do it against a really good front seven in Houston. So, like, obviously it's you can run the ball against basically anybody. You don't love the turnovers, but fluky stuff happens. The Texans' defense is really good. And then the defense continues to play well, even though it's an easier task. So there definitely are positives to take away. And the best positive is you won the game at home, which is something that you've not been doing very much of recently.
And I want to give their fan base credit, too, to still, get up and be loud after the devastation that reigned through Seattle last night with them losing in Game 7. And, you could tell, half the crowd was watching it throughout
Sure.
the first quarter.
Brutal loss. Did you hear the clip of the scream in the locker room?
I did hear that.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Eugenio got shafted. I don't know how you call. So he called the first one a ball, and then it's further inside, further closer to Eugenio, and he calls that one a strike. Just a terrible, egregious ump there. But
I'm
George
very
Springer
sad.
hit the hit they needed to. Why you not bring Munoz in makes no sense to me. Hindsight's 2020. But for Seattle, still come back their fan base and cheer, and be loud. In fact, louder than Toronto was when George Springer hit the 3-run shot. I think that says this fan base is bought in on this team as well. And if they are able to win games at home finally, which they haven't been able to do with Mike McDonald, and they already win so much on the road, this is, I think, the most dangerous team in the league until further notice. And I'm a Seattle homer. I need to get a Sam Darnold jersey soon. Here we go.
I'm thinking about okay.
He's go.
I've got
I already have a
JS
Geno Smith.
I've got JSN, or I have JSN and Emeka Egbuka on one of my fantasy teams. And I said the thing about getting an Emeka Egbuka jersey, and he hasn't put up the stat line. JSN has done it like 3 weeks in a row. Because the thing, it was 150 and a touchdown or 102. And I think he's put up 150 and a touchdown 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
So,
he's balling. He only had 120 and a touchdown.
oh, never mind.
Yeah, he wasn't good enough.
Only.
Yeah,
So yeah, no jersey.
If you want me to get a jersey for you, you got to put up 150 and a touchdown, you're 202 or 102.
I would rather play this Seattle team currently than the Colts. But I wouldn't really want to play either of them. Also, I would prefer to just not have my team play anybody right now because it's probably a loss. So
Yeah. No,
I'll play the Dolphins.
But say you got the Dolphins,
I'll play
you
the
got the
Dolphins.
Jets, but maybe that's about it. All right. Anything else? You still cooking over there?
No, that's it. I do want to. I was gonna hold on. Why did I just lose it? I just lost it live on air.
Hurts.
I kind of want to go see Seattle play, and they play in Nashville on the 23rd of November. But I was gonna ask you, Sanders, do you want to go see the Chargers play in 2 weeks? They play in Nashville when we play at Arkansas.
Oh.
So you might have to consider that.
Yeah, because like NFL tickets are like $200.
That game is not going to be expensive.
No, not in Nashville.
Hold on, let me maybe. I might have to consider, but also that's working the home football games. I get so few Saturdays to watch every game on TV. And
But
I
you
don't-
can watch every game and drive up on Sunday.
I guess, yeah.
I'll do a.
Sunday at 6 a.m.
I'm gonna do a ticket search real quick. Y'all
Yeah.
talk.
JP, good game in the RUF couples league.
Yeah.
You came back. I believe I was up and you beat me by 3. At one point I
28 bones.
$28?
Cheapest ticket.
Exactly.
Shoot,
No, I mean I'm sure it's like. I don't know who knows where, but
Nashville's what, like a 6-hour drive?
Oh, it's 4.
4. That's a tough. I don't like driving that much. I don't know. Year one as a Chargers fan, do I really want to make the drive that early?
It might be one of the only chances you get.
True.
Because what other team are you going to see? You're not going to L.A. More likely.
I might go next year and see the Padres host a playoff
Okay.
game and then see the Chargers play.
Host a playoff game is interesting.
I guess I could go at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, that's more likely.
I'm trying to get. It does not want to load for some reason. $28, $32. I can't see where these tickets are.
How much for like a sideline pass? 50-yard line.
I don't know if we can get you a sideline pass, but let
Yeah,
me
I'd
see
have
what
to-
let me see what a lower bowl
I
ticket
don't know.
is.
As my sources.
I don't know. I'm one of the few Chargers fans. They might be like, oh, out of sympathy, you can have one.
Probably not, but maybe you can just ask for a media pass.
Oh, I'm seeing lower bowl for $75 right now.
That's crazy.
Dude, how is yours loading and not mine? I can't. I literally can't move. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing like almost up towards the front for $80. We might have to make a trip out of
And
this.
that's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tickets will
Titans
probably
are
get a
gonna
little
lose
cheaper.
Twice. Chargers are going to lose twice.
Do the Chargers
Chargers
play
are not gonna
Thursday
lose
They're
again?
going to
Twice.
lose once. They only play one more game, and then it's Titans
Yeah.
play the Colts, so they're going to lose again.
The Chargers play the Vikings on Thursday night.
Yeah, so every
Well, you
Thursday
can't-
night.
It's not a real game,
Yeah,
so I
but
don't know
I
who's
think
going to win
Jack
that.
made a great point that
We
right
can let him
now
know.
our offensive line is awful, but because it's Thursday night, they might play like last year's Eagle offensive line.
Would you like to guess the spread on the Vikings-Chargers game?
Where is it?
It's in Los Angeles.
Okay, it's in Los Angeles.
I know.
I'm so bad at this game. Chargers are going to be favored by
Are you sure?
yes, because it's a home game, and I don't think that the Vikings are favored by like, what would that be, like 5? No,
2.5 points at
2.5,
least.
3 points. I don't think they're favored by 3 points because it's 2.5 for home field. I'm gonna say the Chargers are favored by 1.5.
Jack?
I'm gonna say Chargers 2.5.
Sanders is a Vikings fan. It's Chargers -3.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's not like the Vikings are playing good football right now at all either. So
No.
We might have to make a trip out of that, though. That sounds fun.
Drive up to
And
Nashville.
then go see Seattle 2 weeks or 3 weeks later. And then I may end up going again when New Orleans plays there, but we'll see.
those tickets will be mega cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be about $5.
That's like gonna be. I don't know. That's kind of a big game. That's
may
the game
just
we
l-
got to.
they may
It's
just
going to
let
be
you in.
potentially for the first
for the
overall
first overall
pick.
pick.
So
No, it'll be for second. Jets are first.
Nah, Jets are about to go on a run. Tyrod Taylor run.
I mean, I think
Tyrod
with Tyrod Taylor, the Jets play the Dolphins twice,
Yeah.
or have they
Well,
played
I thought
once?
they
Yeah,
played
one
once.
more. Sorry, my bad. But they'll get that win. So
You'd hope.
You'd hope.
Yeah, you might. I don't know. It's,
Quinn Ewers is potentially going to be the starter.
wow, I'm so nervous.
That's
now.
at least the way Mike McDaniel talked.
I mean,
which
with
is
the way
why
he talked
benched
about Tua,
Tua.
it was insane.
It's diabolical. The organization makes no sense.
was that the quote where he was like, "If you are constantly making negative plays for this team, I'm going to examine." But he didn't say to his name. He just said,
Yeah.
you know, if there are guys on this team making consistently making negative plays, like I'm going to definitely have to evaluate. Like,
The way he motioned to him after he threw his last pick to like get off the field was pretty damning.
yeah,
Well, shall we get into the Pucylowski
Pucylowski
pyramid that is
Yeah.
currently shaped like a Christmas tree? Well, actually, we have to make a trip before that, which is the graveyard.
yeah.
Yes. So it's pyramid time, and unfortunately, we have had to make a move. So the Titans were on graveyard watch. They lost resoundingly to the New England Patriots, and they are entering the graveyard. But after watching the Dolphins lose that way to the Browns, and Tua turned the ball over 3 times, I would like to rescind what I said a week ago that the Dolphins were not on graveyard watch,
Yep.
and they're just in the graveyard now. I have no choice but to move them into the graveyard. So, rest in peace to the Dolphins, Jets, and Titans. Titans and Dolphins joined the Jets 1 week later. They had a good run. A moment of silence for Tua and for Cam Ward and the Titans. Thank
Sure.
you. That's all. That's as long as
feel
the
like
moment of
the-
silence needs to be.
It's really fun. Not funny. I just think it's interesting that like we have 3 teams now who are all in the graveyard, and they are all very differently in the graveyard.
Yes.
You have the Dolphins, who's like the entire team is in the graveyard. Then you've got the Jets, who it's like it's Justin Fields is in the graveyard, but Aaron Glenn is going to be the head coach there, and like he might. Be, and then you have the Titans, who are like they're in the graveyard, but they've got their quarterback. So
Yeah.
they don't, the Titans fans probably don't care. Dolphins fans are depressed because they don't know where the team is going, and Jets fans are just dead inside.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what Tucker has to say about his Titans. But that's a great point. They're all differently in the graveyard, but they're all in the graveyard.
Yep.
And now we move to the teams left off, and you'll notice 4 teams have joined the teams left off tier. And this is because, sadly, I don't want to have to talk about these teams anymore.
Sure.
That's fair.
And so all 4 of them are on graveyard watch immediately. Starting with the Raiders. The Raiders will play
That's
in 2
crazy.
weeks. So they are going to stay here. They won't go to the graveyard yet, but they're automatically on watch. They will play in 2 weeks. They're on the bye, and then they host the Jaguars. And then they will decide their graveyard fate.
Sure.
That's okay. I was a little like, the Giants on the teams left off of the pyramid when there's vacancies on the pyramid. Don't know how I feel about that. But to have them just instantly go to graveyard watch feels a little crazy because I feel like the energy, while they did
You
lose
can tell
that
he's
game,
passionate. He didn't even hold his qualms till the end of the segment.
yeah. I didn't. We can talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
No,
Sorry.
the Giants deserve to be on graveyard watch. You can't lose a game that way. Their wins are fake on Thursday Night Football against the Eagles and then against Sanders Chargers. They play in Philly this week, so if they can defeat Philly, they'll more than likely be back
More than likely.
on the pyramid, which I don't know. It could go any way.
Sure.
All right,
Who knows
okay.
with how Philly plays these games. But I'm putting them on graveyard watch. I don't want to have to talk about this team anymore because they're bad. They're straight up bad. You cannot lose a game that way.
Yeah.
And that goes as well for the Cardinals. 5 straight one-possession losses. I'm tired of talking about how they're choking games. So they find themselves here. And then the Saints, the gig is up. I'm done with Spencer Rattler for whatever reason. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
The fan base is not out on Spencer Rattler. In fact, they are defending him like down to the core. They are defending the heck out of Spencer Rattler. One bad game. Like he isn't. What's his record? 1-12 as a starter.
Yeah.
I just you cannot convince me that he is, good enough to lead this team to the postseason next year. So for me, I'm kind of done for it. He'll lose a couple games in a row. More than likely, we play the Bucks and then the Bears the next 2 weeks, or not the Bears. Play the Bucks next week. That's probably a loss. I'm ready to start Tyler Shuck, so then we can get done with that experiment. We can just move forward to the draft next year. The Giants, like I said, they have to be here because they had a 99.3% chance to win the game and lost. They gave up 33 points in the fourth quarter. It's just the second time this season that they've given up more than 28 points total, and they gave up 33 in the fourth. They are 0-4 on the road. The Raiders, again, they are here and on graveyard watch. The Chiefs were taking a knee on the plus side of the 2-minute warning. You want to know how many timeouts the Raiders had?
3.
They had all 3 timeouts.
They didn't call any of them.
And they didn't call any of them because the game was so far out of reach that they just wanted to go home. So they're on graveyard watch. And again, the Cardinals 5 straight one-possession losses. So now we start the building of the pyramid, but also going to look like a Christmas tree this week. Welcome back to the pyramid, the Cleveland Browns. Quinshon Judkins had himself a day with 3 touchdowns, only 85 rushing yards, but 3 touchdowns. And I thought Gabriel handled the sloppy conditions very well. He did not have worst throws of the week TikTok, and that is a promising sign. That's a
good.
step
Congrats.
forward. He got his first win as a starter.
Yeah.
So credit to Dylan Gabriel, doesn't throw a pick in that sloppy conditions, handled the ball well, and they win going away against the Dolphins. The Panthers, I'm going to leave them here. They're 4-3. They have the same record as the Kansas City Chiefs, which is hilarious. No one beats the Jets pretty. It's just always a grind. Only the Buffalo Bills have beat the Jets in a pretty way this year. All 6 of the Jets' losses outside of that Bills one have just been down to the wire, close games, one-possession games. The Cowboys won by 2 possessions, but it was a very close game throughout. I asked the question, which team is Carolina? The Dolphins or the Steelers that barely beat the Jets and aren't really that good? In the case of the Dolphins, they're in the graveyard, and the Steelers, who knows? Or are they the Broncos and the Buccaneers that won close games, 2-point games? They're good teams that they deserve to be pretty high in the tiers. I'm going to take the latter because I'm a Panthers hater.
Same.
And I'm going to keep them here. Bryce Young still has not thrown for 200 yards yet this season. The Bengals.
Yeah, but he got hurt on Sunday. So if he hadn't got hurt, he would have.
I don't know. Maybe it might be time to start
That
Andy
is
Dalton.
not. Wait a sec. He had September 14th. He's only done it once. He's only done. You said he hasn't done it.
I misspoke.
Yeah,
He's only done it once.
Yeah.
Hater.
My fault.
No, he is. He knows
put me
he's
on
a hater.
Twitter.
He's okay with that.
Again, the Bengals, Thursday Night Football continues to be fake. So, honestly, this was always how they were going to win games, though. Even if they had the other Joe and Joe Burrow, they were going to win games just by outscoring the other team, hitting Jamar Chase and T. Higgins a ton. I'm just going to bet that Joe Flacco won't continue to perform like this going forward, and that it'll be more like the Packers game going forward. And so I'm going to keep the Bengals where they are here, but they get a big win on Thursday night and have a chance to kind of rebound their season maybe a little bit. They play the Jets next week, and all of a sudden they're 4-4. So maybe they're back. Maybe they have a chance to, go on a run, and Joe Burrow returns, and this team is right there knocking on the door of the postseason. Who knows? Crucial win. They kind of saved their season. Zach Taylor kind of saved his job winning, but they stay at the bottom of the pyramid. I never bet against Flacco. I agree. That's why I told everyone that the Bengals were going to win on Thursday night. And I told Sanders to take every possible Joe Flacco line as over, and he hit all of those lines. So, sadly, DK didn't catch a touchdown. Otherwise, we would have cooked again on Thursday night. The Ravens stay where they are. They're bye week, so that nothing changed. But here we go. You got to go 9 for your next 11 to realistically make the postseason. Like Jack said, you said that before the show, though, right? That they removed their ping pong table, video game consoles, all of that from the locker room, so maybe they're locked in now. Sadly, Marlon Humphrey is still recording podcast episodes. If you haven't gone and seen that, go watch one of his podcasts.
I've seen some clips. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're. It's a sight to behold. Tier 6 and the continued building of our Christmas tree here.
Can we get tier 6?
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
You're good.
The Steelers stay where they're at. Thursday Night Football continues to be fake, like I said. The defense has to figure some stuff out because offense was promising against the Bengals. That is a tough loss to take, to drop down to 4-3, or 4-2, I should say. You can't lose a game like that, and sadly they did because their defense could not step up when they needed them to, and that has happened already a few times this year. The Patriots have won 4 in a row, but I'm going to keep them where they are. 3 straight on the road. They're going to keep winning games. I just don't like the level of competition that they've played in playing the Saints and the Titans and the Dolphins in these 3 weeks, 3 of these 4 wins. I just don't like the level of competition. They're going to play the Browns and the Falcons the next 2 weeks, so it's not even going to be any better going forward. So they may be 7-2, but I'll look at their competition and say that it's not really that great. I'm going to keep them where they are. Texans, the defense, again, historic. The offense scored 13 points. Their defense nearly scored half as many points as their offense scored this weekend. That can't happen. They get the fumble recovery touchdown and the offense comes out there and can't even convert on the 2-point conversion. You could just see when they showed Will Anderson after that, just the sigh of, man, come on now, what are we doing here? They're going to stay where they're at on tier 6, though. Their defense is too good to move them down lower. The Vikings, for me, this was the hardest team to leave where they were. For me, the positives, Hurts was terrific, perfect passer rating. Wentz turned it over, and yet they were still in this game. They were still right there. They get one stop, they have a chance to go win or tie the game. They, unfortunately, for the negatives, their quarterback play is just not consistent with Carson Wentz. Clearly wasn't with J.J. McCarthy. They don't have what they've had previous years, which is where they've had just stability at quarterback play with Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins, and that's kind of holding them back. The Falcons drop back down to tier 6. It's just a classic Falcons letdown following a big win. The offense is way too reliant on its stars, and they don't even want to put their stars on the field when it matters most. Keeping Bijan out on a 4th and 1, what are we doing here? They can't throw to anybody that's not named Drake London or Kyle Pitts. That's just going to hold you back. Darnell Mooney didn't even play that well. Falcons are going to Falcon. They continue to Falcon. I believe they are playing the Dolphins at home this weekend. So they're going to get a win, or maybe they just have a complete, a Panthers game, and Tua tears them apart. I think that would be hilarious if that happens. Commanders, sadly, are dropping another tier down to tier 6. The Dallas Cowboys sacked them 4 times. The Dallas Cowboys held Bill Krosky-Merritt to just 33 rushing yards. They had no Debo, they had no Terry, so I'm going to give them some grace, but that's just disappointing. Jaden may be hurt again, and we got a layup next week. No, we play at Kansas City on Monday Night Football, so it's unbelievable what the Bears-Commanders game is going to do again to two teams' seasons. But here we go again. The Commanders on the bad side of it this time, and they are on a downward spiral. Is the best way I can put it.
It's not the best way to put it because it's not a spiral. We've gone off the cliff, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
Plummeting.
It's a free fall.
sad to see.
Tier 5?
Tier 5. The Cowboys, dynamic offense. Like, they are, I should have mentioned them earlier because I feel this way. They're right there with the Colts and Chiefs where I just don't think you can stop this offense, especially with CeeDee Lamb. The defense showed some fight. Honestly, a playoff push could be possible because they just continue to score. CeeDee Lamb is unguardable. Because of that, George Pickens is on your cornerback too. That's it's tough to stop. Javonte Williams is running well. Dak is putting the ball right where he needs to whenever he does. And he has like one of the best outlets in the game in Jake Ferguson. So this just offense is incredible. And if their defense is going to show some fight like that, they can be in a lot of games that they're not supposed to be. Chicago stays where they're at. Started 0-2. Quietly, they're 4-2. Running game success the last 2 weeks is just going to help them so much going forward. And the defense continues to be opportunistic, getting turnovers when the other team just hands them to you, which Spencer Rattler did 4 times this weekend. Chicago's 4-2, and they're going to keep winning going forward. They got some easier games going forward, I do believe. This week they play at Baltimore with Lamar returning, but I think they're going to win that game. Would you guys like to guess the spread on Bears-Ravens? Baltimore returns this weekend, or Lamar returns this weekend off of a
Where
bye.
is it?
It's in Baltimore.
Ravens by 4.5. No. 6.5.
Ravens 1.5.
Good change. It's Ravens minus 6.5.
Let's go.
Way too much faith in
Right.
Yeah.
way too much faith in Lamar, man.
See me taking Bears minus or plus 6.5 very soon. Although the best bet segment probably needs to be thrown in the trash. I'm still doing great as a gambler, though. Sad to see. The Jaguars drop. That was a sad performance. But like I said earlier, they've played the 49ers, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, and the Rams the last 4 weeks. They went 2-2. Like, I would not panic yet. You would not have expected, at least, with the way Seattle is playing, for them to be 2-2 in those 4 games. So don't panic. They got the Raiders and the Texans next. They're going to be 6-3, and we're going to have a completely different conversation about them in 2 weeks. I'm not out on them yet. They got to figure out some things offensively, but it happens. They've dropped 2 in a row, and because of that, now everyone kind of is going to think worse of them. They're still a decent football team. I don't think they've underperformed from the expectations that they had coming into the season. In fact, they probably overperformed for a lot of people. The Chargers are going to stay where they're at. Offensive line is bad. Defense could not get a stop. Herbert is trying, but because of that, he's being forced into bad throws at times, and health is holding them back. But we have seen the ceiling of this team, and because we've seen that ceiling, we would like to think that they are a potential dangerous team if we got to the postseason in any given game format. Maybe not to make a run to the Super Bowl, but this is still kind of a dangerous team any given Sunday. The 49ers move up. Another Mac Jones primetime win. They just keep fighting. CMC is back. Kittle did not touch the ball, and they still won. And we got National Tight End Day next week. So go ahead and take your George Kittle lines because he cooks on National Tight End Day. Do you start Mac Jones even if Brock Purdy's healthy next week? You just have to continue asking yourself that question. Another good win on primetime. They are 5-2 if I'm not. Yeah, 5-2. They play at Houston this weekend. Would you guys like to guess the spread on that game?
Who? It's Houston.
In Houston.
San Francisco at Houston.
Yes.
San Francisco -1.5.
Houston -2.5.
Houston -1.5. Point goes to Jack there. Tier 4. I'm probably going to take some flack for this, but I'm going to keep the Colts on Tier 4. They are an unstoppable force offensively. Like I said earlier, I don't think you can hold this offense to under 20 points. But I don't think this team is on the same level as the teams above of them because I don't think they can play complementary football like a Seattle, like a Philly, like a Green Bay. And I just don't think they have the ceiling of the teams above them as well. I would pick any of the teams above them to beat them on a game Sunday. Any of the teams above them would be favored, I do believe, except maybe Seattle if they went to Indy. So for me, power ranking wise, I'm going to keep the Colts where they're at. But I think I'm going to move them up next week, depending on what happens to the teams above them. Sadly, though, it's as though you rise up the pyramid, there's less and less spots. So I can't just put them up there on Tier 2 or Tier 3. Even if I wanted to, they have to be. You have to move someone down if you're going to do that. And I can't move any of those teams down above them right now. The Rams, moving up. Like I said, if they win, they'll be fine without Puka. And they won this weekend, destroying the Jaguars. They have the Saints and then a rematch against the 49ers the next 2 weeks. They're fine. Puka got hurt, and they're chilling. Stafford's him. He's a dog. And this offense is good. Even
Devontae
without
Adams
Puka
has been like he's 26.
Devontae Adams is playing incredible. The kind of the bad vibes all week of like they were practicing in the Orioles park, which jokingly is like the only time that park has gotten action in October in a long time. But they did not leave until Friday afternoon for a game in London, so they never adjusted to the timing.
Did you see the explanation for that?
No.
Okay. Do you want me to explain it real quick?
Go ahead.
Explanation is West Coast to East Coast is a 3 hour time difference.
Yeah.
East Coast to London is 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rams, whenever they travel to the East Coast, are playing like a 10 a.m. body clock kickoff. And I think they just played an East Coast game and just stayed on the East Coast. So they've been there for 2 weeks. And they adjusted their bodies to the East Coast time, and then they traveled over and played a 9:30 body kickoff in London. So that was kind of the explanation of like,
interesting.
Because it really, like going West Coast to London would suck. But because we've been here for 2 weeks, it's really just like we're playing like a mid-morning game. And it worked.
It worked. I actually kind of
Sure.
like that. That actually makes a lot of sense. They move up to tier 4, though, after defeating the Jaguars, who were on Tier 4 last week. The Chiefs, again, unstoppable offense. With Rashee Rice back, I don't know how you stop this offense. They can't run the ball well, but it doesn't matter because the weapons that they have at receiver and then Travis Kelce, they can dink and dunk you down the field. They can hit you over the top with Xavier Worthy or Tyquan Thornton. Mahomes can just scramble for 6 yards if he needs to. Their offense is just dynamic. It's again a Chiefs offense. You're just going to have to outscore. You're going to have to be aggressive in key moments. You're going to press when you wouldn't normally need to, and that makes them really dangerous. But I'm not moving them up to Tier 3 because I've seen bad weeks from them. I've seen weeks where Mahomes throws a pick when he doesn't need to and gives up a 99-yard touchdown. Penalties have cost them. They have just been outscored. Think of the Chargers game. Even though they didn't have Rashee or Worthy, like they have been picked apart defensively. I've seen too much negative to continue to move them up. Although many people and many power ratings are just going to have them number 1, and I can pretty much guarantee that they're not back. They are a really good team, but not a great team right now yet. They've got to continue to put together performances before I really change my mind on that. I would pick any of the teams above them to beat them, and I would favor any of the teams above them in a game on a neutral field. So the Chiefs are at tier 4. Finally, the Broncos, I keep them where they are. Great comeback to save them, to really save Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Their defense kind of held the line and forced some key turnovers and punts when they needed to in the fourth quarter, even though Jackson Dart was kind of getting what he wanted for the first 3. And like I always say, pretty much every week, good teams win games they're not supposed to. And they won that game on Sunday when they definitely were not supposed to, at a 0.7% chance to win late in the fourth quarter. Tier 3. The Buffalo Bills stay where they're at. Bye week. Nothing changed. They've got to respond. I hope that Josh Allen cares about football still, given his post-game comments after the Falcons game where he said that Haley Steinfeld basically convinced him that football doesn't mean everything, and I'm not just a football player. I want football player only Josh Allen back, and I want him to destroy the Carolina Panthers this weekend in Carolina. Would you guys like to guess the spread on that game?
Buffalo versus North Carolina?
Buffalo versus the Carolina Panthers.
Sorry, Carolina Panthers. Thank
North
you.
Carolina is eligible, though. They are the 33rd NFL team.
Yeah, coached by NFL head coach Bill Belichick.
Self-quoted.
Wait, what?
They are self-quoted to be the 33rd NFL team.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's what they said.
I missed that one when that happened. Okay, Bills at Carolina. Bills going to be favored minus. They were favorable at 10.5 against the Dolphins.
Yes.
I'll say
Jack?
Bills 9.5.
7.5.
let's go. I was closer.
I should have just stuck with my initial guess,
right.
man.
Well, technically, if it's a negative number, I was under the 8.5.
I think.
Disagree.
Yeah, I agree with Jack. Packers stay where they're at. Gutsy win against Arizona, going for it on 4th and 2, which in hindsight makes sense because it worked. But also, given the scenario of the game, it was about 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. 4th and 2. If you kick a field goal, you're basically saying, okay, our defense is not going to give up 35 or so yards to Jacoby Brissett, and they're going to kick a game-winning field goal in 2 minutes with plenty of time. So let's go for it and make sure that Jacoby Brissett has to get a touchdown, and it ends up working for them. They would have been pressed if it had not worked, but it worked. And so a win is a win is a win. You can't really put this against them. No one wins pretty against the Arizona Cardinals either, I'd say, because that's 5 straight one-possession losses for Arizona. Micah was in full force. He had 3 sacks, a couple critical sacks, too, in that game. And I still think they've got some room to grow offensively, of course. Jaden Reed hopefully returns at some point. For the Lions, their offense is back, but I'm not going to move them up even though they defeated a team that's above them. They're just too hot and cold, and I just don't like that. They are dynamic one week and then not dynamic the next. Not dynamic against the Chiefs and the Packers, but dynamic against the Ravens and the Bucks. So I don't know what to make of that. I think that unfortunately is kind of like in baseball with a team that relies too much on the home runs, that when you get to the postseason, you can't guarantee you're going to put together multiple great performances of home runs. And so if the Lions make the postseason, I can't guarantee that they're going to continue to dominate 3-4 games in a row. I'm going to keep them here at tier 3. I like their ceiling because they have had playoff success before, but they're not better than the 3 teams above them. And 2 of those teams are the teams on tier 2. The Eagles, Hurts, perfect passer rating. Big win when they needed it. They were only a 1.5-point favorite against Minnesota. Saquon can't get blocks. Like, we're getting to an Ashton Genty level of talking about yards before contact and yards after contact. But Jalen Hurts made big throws when he needed to. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 15, and a 3rd and 7. Obvious passing. He completes big plays to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and they get a big win. I'm going to keep the Bucs at tier. I'm going to move the Bucs down to tier 2, I should say, but I'm not going to move them lower than Detroit because I think they'll be fine. They had no Godwin. The Evans injury hurt them a ton, not only because you lose Mike Evans, but they completed a deep pass down the field. They would have been scoring. That maybe would have got their momentum going. Ekbuka was clearly hurt. Bucky Irving's going to return, though. Chris Godwin will return. Ekbuka's just going to get healthier. And they were in a game they had no business being in. Because like I said when we talked about that game, 7 drives, 5 were punts, 2 first downs, a fumble, and an interception, both on the first play of each of those drives. And they were in this game all the way down to the finish. That just speaks to the competitiveness that they play with, because when offenses aren't going like that and you have the amount of 3, they had 2 first downs in those first 5 drives, so their defense is on the field all the time. A lot of time defenses may give up, but they have so much belief in Baker Mayfield, even though they don't have it going offensively, that their defense continues to fight, and it keeps them in games, and it kept them in this game. Finally, Tier 1, it's a pleasure of mine to welcome Seattle to the top of the pyramid. This is biased. I'm not going to lie. This is completely biased. But I don't think it's a bad take. It's a take people are coming around on. Dan Orlovsky last night on the broadcast is going to act like he was on this the whole time, saying, oh, they're Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, they're completely have a good chance. But no one expected this. I didn't expect it to this degree. I thought this was a playoff team. They're the best team in the league. Like, keyword, team. They don't have the best quarterback. That's Patrick Mahomes. They don't have the best running back. That's Jonathan Taylor. They don't have the best receiver. That's Jamar Chase, although they're very close with JSN. I don't think they have the best defense, so I think that's Houston still. But they're the best team. They play the best complementary football. That's special teams. That's offense, defense. They are the best team. And if they can figure out how to win at home like they just did last night, they're going to be unstoppable, because playing in Seattle is really tough, and they win on the road with the way that they play football. So they are atop the pyramid for me in Week 7's edition of the Pucylowski Pyramid.
Good pyramid. Sanders, you've already kind of
I've
raised
voiced my
concerns. Do you have anything else?
concerns with the teams left off. The Giants being left off felt a little unfair, given I get that they are bad, reactionary in a way, and also
ironic.
It was a bad loss, but it's still a very fun team, and I get that that's not everything, but
Fun doesn't equal good.
No, but they can score points, and if that defense can come around, especially that D-line and
Which
the
that's
linebacker
crazy.
room,
That's where we're at right now. Is
Yeah.
that defense is the issue.
because we really thought the defense was going to be great coming into this year, or at least good. We thought it was going to be good. And the defensive line had the potential to be great with everything they had invested in there. Brian Burns, Kevon Thibodeau, Christian Wilkins, Abdul Carter, a first-rounder. We thought it could be really, really good. Not Christian Wilkins, Dexter Lawrence.
Big sexy. Yeah.
The other Clemson defensive
Yes.
tackle. But yeah, it is crazy. That's where we are. That was my biggest issue. What are your thoughts, Jack? Do you have a qualm?
Well, I do
Go
want to
ahead.
respond to that. I am putting them there, and I'm going to put on my graveyard watch, because if you lose a game like that, I think you're dead. And they are dead, because this is who they play the next. Let's just go. You could go X amount of weeks. Let's go 7. At Philly, hosting the Niners. At the Chicago Bears, hosting the Packers. At Detroit, at the Patriots, hosting the Commanders. They're dead.
Commanders is the most winnable game left in that 7-game stretch.
I would argue yes. Out of those games, they are dead, and they still have to play the Cowboys and Vikings, and Geno Smith and the Raiders. The Geno Smith and the Raiders is the only game I think they'll be favored in the rest of the year, unless the Commanders have really fallen off a cliff in 7 weeks. This is I preemptively, I'm going to go ahead and say they're dead pre-Halloween.
Yeah.
And I would like to put them in the graveyard pre-Halloween as well. I don't think there's a way going up. I think they will lose resoundingly in Philly this weekend. And I think because of that, they're dead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jamin Davis, John Dotson, Emmanuel Forbes, back-to-back first-round picks for the Commanders, man, and that
Jamin Davis, Kentucky.
What position did he play?
linebacker. That greatly spells, highlights why we have some depth
And you said
issues.
Jahan Dotson
and,
was the first round pick?
Correct.
And no infusion of young talent.
Yeah, that'll get you.
That will get you. It will.
Your issues with do you have
Yeah.
a qualm with the pyramid?
Sorry,
Yeah, I see
that
you.
hurts me a lot.
You are sitting here in quiet reflection. I don't want you to,
Thanks,
get too sad.
Thanks, Riverboat Ron. I would move the Chargers down and put the Patriots up there.
Sure.
Yes, that was one I was going. Yes.
Patriots, I know, they beat the Bucks and then you go beat the Saints and beat the Titans, so it's the Saints and Titans. But you're now 5-2. You've bounced back nicely from that early season disaster against the Raiders, which is now the Raiders' only win.
Yeah.
And Drake May's playing fantastic. And the Chargers are not playing fantastic at all. So I'd flip
No.
those. Not a huge issue there, though. I wouldn't die by that. I don't think that's like an egregious oversight. And I hate where the Colts are. But you can't really move them up. But it just
That's exactly.
so I know you basically already said that, but it's just like when you unveiled Tier 4, I was like, oh, I'm going to have an issue with the Colts being there. But the three teams above them all, the Bills didn't play, did they?
No.
But they didn't lose, and then the Packers win and the Lions win, so it's like, all right, you can't really drop them. So it feels very wrong, but I actually will have to agree with you on that. But I wouldn't it's almost like they don't belong in Tier 4 either, so I don't.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think you could put them on tier 3. I think you could move either the Lions or the Bills down. The Lions, because of the reasons you addressed about their inconsistency, about the fact that they're what do you call it when they play best when they're ahead, a front runner team.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bills, just because they don't feel like they're locked in, and I feel like the Colts are playing very locked in right now. Daniel Jones is playing well. Jonathan Taylor is playing well. The offensive line is giving him huge gaps to run through. The wide receivers, I don't think they've got good wide receivers, but they don't have like a guy who's probably top 10.
Sure.
But the wide receivers are working really well, complementing each other. They've got a top 10 weapon in Tyler Warren.
Mm-hmm.
At tight end. They've got a top 10 tight end. Potentially, he's playing as well farther and farther up that list. But they don't have a wide receiver, huge threat. But they're playing complementary, and that's working really well. Whereas the Bills have lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, they lost 2 in a row, then had the bye week.
Had the bye week. But that team does not feel like it's playing well right now. And that is, they do have the bye week, so we didn't see them, so maybe that's why you don't drop them. But the Colts are playing really, really good football right now, and the Bills are not.
Fair.
That would be, if I had to move a team down, it would be the Bills. I wouldn't touch the Lions. I know they're hot and cold, but you just beat the team that was on top of the pyramid.
Yeah,
so
that is,
massive win.
My only pushback is, for me, the Bills and the Lions are proven commodities.
Yeah.
They are proven playoff teams. They're proven division winners. The Colts have played 7 games and have been terrific, but they haven't made the postseason year after year.
Yeah.
They haven't won playoff games year after year. And so I think for me, power rankings, a lot of that is a big part of that is continued success over years, and to not get caught up in, not that the Colts run is going to be fluky, because I think they're going to continue to be successful, but get caught up in hot weeks, because then you'll have the Saints of last year through 2 weeks on top of your pyramid through 2 weeks. I just think they're more proven, and so I would pick I think Buffalo or Detroit would be favored.
Sure.
Over the Colts, and I would pick them as well.
Yeah.
Even if it was in Indy. Sorry, that was a hard one to get out. So many ins.
Yeah.
So I it's egregious. I agree. It's really hard to lead them here down on tier 4, but I just don't feel like moving any of those teams down.
Sure.
That's fair.
Fine. I'm fine with it. Great pyramid. And that's all we have for the show. I said that every time and then go, but wait. We have to pick our Thursday games.
I like that we didn't do this on the show for probably the first 4 or 5 weeks. I like that we started doing it. I was looking at it earlier. Our state game, as always, will be previewed. The question is, do we want to do South Florida Memphis? That's a big G5 game. It's not a top 25 game, but South Florida is top 25. Memphis was undefeated until a bad loss last week against UAB. But that could have big G5 playoff implications. A loss by South Florida opens the door for Boise State to potentially re-enter as a front runner, or at least has an outside shot. So do y'all want to do that? We've got Ole Miss at Oklahoma. That's a big one. Alabama at South Carolina. I don't particularly want to do that one.
We're not doing that
Okay,
one.
I didn't know if we were going to do the whole October thing. We got to talk about it.
Pick it if you wanted to.
Maybe we'll
We
pick
could
it.
pick it,
But
but
I
I
don't,
don't want to
I'm not
preview it.
even.
It's an 11.5 point spread. I'm not.
12 and a half I've got.
I've got 11 and a half.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
What are you? Oh yeah, never mind.
As a seer, I just don't see that.
Sure.
I don't foresee that happening.
No, I don't either. I do not either. I just
So I
didn't
think it's
know
worth
if we
talking
were
about.
going to. Missouri at Vanderbilt. That's a big one.
It's tough because like it's just kind of all the same teams playing these big matchups.
Yeah.
Yep.
So obviously we're gonna do the state game. I think we should do Oklahoma Ole Miss. That's a huge game in terms of playoff implications. Both teams have one
Would
loss.
love to
SEC
do
implications.
BYU Iowa State.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Just considering we get good BYU traction.
We get
so that's
insane BYU views.
that's
do?
a
We
just
got 500 views on the BYU video.
and the
Dub.
preseason BYU thing did great. So I think we just play into
Okay.
that a little bit.
Apparently, we need to do BYU videos every week
I'm down.
because they are getting a
Mormons
lot
love
of.
us.
Well, it's
Apparently
actually
it's
Church of Jesus Christ of
Church,
Latter-day
the
Saints.
Church of Jesus Christ.
Someone in
of
the comments said, "Don't call us Mormons. Call us Church of Jesus Christ of Latter or LDS for short." So,
Mormons.
yeah, if we want to piss off our largest audience,
The
then
left versus the right.
Yeah.
What
But okay, so
was that on the preview?
the
or-
review, the
Okay.
review. That's where we had the 5. I mean, you can
Heard.
see it right here.
So we're gonna do Oklahoma Ole Miss,
463
the BYU
views.
game.
Wow.
the state game, obviously. I don't really want to do USF Memphis. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
Maybe if Memphis didn't lose, sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um,
A&M LSU.
Yeah, I would say the 3 SEC games, the state game, and then the BYU game.
trying to see if there's like the biggest Big Ten game. If we just like wanted to toss one more in there, the Big Ten
It's
slate
really the
is not looking too
UCLA
hot.
game at Indiana. That's about the only one that
I mean,
holds.
it's Indiana Washington is like the actual closest one, but I don't really want to do that one.
Yeah.
We've talked about those teams a lot.
Wow. I would not. Sanders, do you know the spread on UCLA Indiana?
Indiana minus 16.5.
It's 25.5.
Wow. So we got Texas at Mississippi State. We will do.
Not the biggest Power 4 spread of the weekend.
We'll do Texas A&M at LSU. Another night game because that's just what LSU does. We'll do
That's what the SEC does for LSU.
Correct.
Missouri at Vanderbilt, I assume.
Yeah. It's game day. They deserve it.
Ole Miss at Oklahoma.
T-Sun.
Sorry, T-Sun.
You can put this. You've put it Old Miss.
Yeah, I
think,
do. I
every
do it
time,
pretty
so.
consistently. Ole Miss at Oklahoma, and then fan game of the week. Or was there a fifth one? We wanted to do BYU, Iowa State.
And then fan
has
game.
become kind of
Yeah.
our fans that aren't necessarily having input game of the week.
Yeah. Our LDS fans.
And then NFL.
Yes, NFL. I'm just going to put game of the week.
Not gonna lie, this is not the most inspiring of slates.
Really?
Let me see if
Yes,
I would
really.
disagree. Let me see if I disagree before you say anything. I mean, Jets, Bengals.
I would like to do the
Didn't-
Packers
Did
Steelers.
Flacco play for the Jets?
Yes, he was a Jet.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, little revenge game for him. Is it I wonder, has any quarterback ever played for every team in the division? And if so, Aaron Rodgers is out next year at the Steelers. They bring in a young guy. It doesn't work, and they go get Flacco, and he plays for every team in that division.
Let's see. Ryan Fitzpatrick is close, but he didn't play for the Patriots.
What about like
No.
a Josh Johnson?
I don't think so.
I didn't mean to completely distract us, but I had that thought earlier when you were doing your pyramid.
So-
I think he was pretty spread out.
Green Bay at Pittsburgh is
Yeah.
one we're
Yes.
doing.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is close though. He's right there with Joe Flacco, having played for 3.
he played for the Jets?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
He was I think he almost led to the Jets to the playoffs. And he
You
played
say
for
Green Bay
Miami
at who?
and
Pittsburgh.
Buffalo.
Green
That's
Bay
the Sunday
at-
night game. Chicago at Baltimore. It's kind of like a Lamar Jackson return.
Yeah, yeah.
Chicago's
that.
playing well.
Not Browns, Bears.
Commanders at the Chiefs.
No, I think we're good.
The other one
Cowboys
I'm-
at Broncos?
That's the other one I was looking at is Cowboys
Yeah,
at
I'm down.
Broncos. And that can be our 3.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
What would you like to talk about the NBA, Chromie?
His Kings, how they're making a run to the finals.
Cowboys at Broncos. Yep. All right. So that's our 3 NFL games. I'm really glad we're not doing 9 college games again. That was a mistake.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. And I would do it again, but then the 3.5-hour show on Sunday was tough.
I enjoyed it.
6 is a good happy
I think
medium.
6 is a good medium, yeah. We may have to hit 8 or 9 again on big weekends, but for now I think 6 is great. Yeah, NBA.
I mean, season starts. That's exciting. That's all I got on that. I think
Yeah.
we
Yeah, I'm excited to bet player props
sure.
because I'm very solid at that.
Well, shall we get on out of here, boys?
Yeah, I guess so. Wrap it up.
Thanks to all who tuned in on the live stream, and thanks to all who are watching it post-hand. It means a lot, and thanks to Chromie specifically in the chat for keeping us some company. And we'll be back for y'all Thursday to preview the upcoming weekend slate of both NFL and college games, and hope to see y'all there. Peace.
See ya.